Hey, this is Russell, and I work at the Video Store, the place that you can go to once a week whenever it is movie night. I love this job. I get to talk about movies and series with my friends when the store is quiet, and then interesting people pop in to rent something. We can help you figure out what you can be watching on streaming platforms and out in cinemas. All right, let's do it. Let's open up the shop.
Did you see that thing yesterday on the TV? It was really interesting.
Hey, morning, dudes.
Morning,
What's up?
Russell.
Why do you sound so, I don't know, fatigued?
I am running on fumes.
Ach no, did you watch the Oscars?
I didn't watch the Oscars, but I
No.
felt like I was very much there. What happened is TikTok hired the Bioscope for a very special event.
Right.
This has never actually happened before, where we had an all-night pajama party to watch the Oscars.
Oh, dude, I had the idea to do, a thought flitted through my mind to be like, let's have a watch party at the Bioscope and watch the Oscars.
Other folks also did, and I was like, funny you should say that this
Yeah.
year, because someone's actually booked it. It's a very interesting idea. It feels very good on paper,
Yeah.
but then in reality, it is quite difficult when you get to like 2, 3, 4 in the morning.
Yes.
But that being said, the energy was amazing last night. This group of influencers came in, and I realized, like, when you're in your 20s, you can do this.
Yes.
Yeah,
I am now about to turn
not in your 20s.
39,
Yeah.
and I also went to Millie Pop this weekend.
Right.
So on Saturday, I was like in Ermelo, or like just outside of Ermelo
Oh, wow.
for Millie Pop, and we
I have
performed.
family. I didn't know it was there. I have family in
It's just
Ermelo.
it's just past Ermelo.
Okay.
Great town, great steers. And then, you come back, and then it's this crazy night where, at sort of 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock on a Sunday, I'm ready for bed, But
Yes.
instead, I'm like setting things up. We're just getting started.
Yes,
So
yeah.
it was very exciting, very cool. I'm glad that, the event was made around the Oscars. But at about 1 a.m, just as it was about to start, I was like, I can now leave it in the very safe hands of our staff
Yeah.
and these organizers, and I can get some rest.
Nice.
Only to wake up nice and early and chat to you, Oaks.
Lovely. Thank
And
you for
so-
being here.
No, I love this, and I want us to talk about the Oscars,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I think, I don't think it was necessarily the world's most surprising night.
No.
No.
Can we safely say that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think there's still something cool to talk about, and we'll go through each of the categories after the chat. Speaking of the chat,
Yeah.
we have Jack Parow
Yarr.
coming in to read
One and
something.
only.
Lekker.
The one and only. Let me tell you, I don't think he's going to disappoint.
Really?
Because I've met him a couple of times backstage, and he's a very interesting dude.
That's nice.
And I think what I'm looking forward to the most about this chat is the fact that in a long form chat, you can see more of the person.
Yeah.
yeah.
We don't have to get into too much detail now, but that person is Zander.
Yeah.
Zander is the man.
Yeah.
Jack Parow
Oh,
is the
wow.
character.
I never knew his name was Zander.
Yeah. And so I think one could look forward to seeing that. I think look for that in the chat, because I think that's the real gem of these kinds of conversations.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it's very cool to hear what movies he's loved across his life. A very important mention is St. Parow's Day
Yes.
is happening this coming Saturday.
Yeah.
And that was one of the instigators for the chat. The tickets are in the link of the podcast description. So please go and support old Jack Parow at St. Parow's Day. And then, after the chat, please stick around where myself, Cole, and Graham are going to chat through the Oscars.
Yeah.
I think there's some lovely, deserving wins, and it'll be great to get into it. All right, without further ado, this is Jack Parow popping in to rent something. How's it?
Good and you. Lekker.
It's nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to be here. Lekker. Here in this cool cinema/video store. I love it. Such a cool space, this.
Thank you.
And it's so nice. Also, this whole like 44 Stanley vibe is also so nice. Like,
It is nice.
yeah, I haven't really. I obviously live in Cape Town, so, and I don't come here that often to this actual place. I mean, I'm in
Yeah.
Joburg like all the time, but so it's nice to actually have a day where I'm traveling to a show where I can actually like rustig. I had breakfast here. It was nice. Yeah.
I know that feeling well.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of Cape Town, but it's tended to just been like the field.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I'm staring at behind the stage.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a hotel, and then maybe it's your friends for a little bit. But I've never really gotten the chance to like relax in Cape Town.
Yeah, no, but you must. You must.
I know, and I try.
So nice there by the beach, there in Cape Town.
I shudder to think what Cape Townians think of Joburg, because even if you do come up for work, as
Yeah.
you said, you don't get to see it.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a nice relationship with Joe because I'm up here playing shows, and you always get treated well most of the time if you're playing shows. So it's like always, I always say, I just, for example, I just had a show in China, but it's like, I would have, if I just went to China, it would have probably been much weirder. But to actually have someone that just treats you like a king and takes you around everywhere and fucking shows you all the best stuff, and like it just makes it like a different experience always. So I've never gone anywhere and been like, this is shit. Like it's always like kind of nice. Everyone always puts their best foot forward in a way.
China?
Yeah, it was crazy. Me and Kurt Darren.
What?
Yeah, fucking strange. But I love Kurt, but it's just like a strange combo already.
Who brought you out?
So there's really cool guy, Jason Shaw, super nice guy, and he loves South Africa. He actually...
Is he a South African?
No, he was born in Hong Kong, and he lived here for like 20 years, I think.
Okay.
And he started actually Simply Asia's, and he had all this, and he loves South Africa. His brother still stays here. He's got a farm in Franschhoek. And they're very much still involved in South Africa, but he's a restaurateur, so he's gone back to China, and he's opened the South African restaurant there called Le Berg China. And
so this is in Hong Kong?
this is in Shanghai. Yeah.
Wow.
So played a show there, and then
How did that go down?
it was great, eh? I mean, it was
Sapphies?
it's very
Sapphies
much
in the audience?
Sapphies, yeah.
Okay.
Just Sapphies and their Chinese girlfriends, like or boyfriends. That's pretty much it. But it was really fun, and there's obviously a lot of teachers, like a lot. Most people go there to teach English, because it's people, they really want English teachers there, and they pay well. So it's a kind of a lucrative experience, but you still have to. It's a crazy country. Like it's obviously I thought it was going to be more military and whatever you'd say, but it was actually super nice. I'd go back in a heartbeat. Yeah.
I think that Chinese politics is a bit more subtle.
Yeah.
Where you don't see it, but
if you call shit, they will come and
comes
fetch
at you. Yeah.
There was, for example, there was like the one day on the day of our show. Actually, we play the day after our show. We were back at the restaurant for that because it was actually the day before the Driekus Du Plessis fight. So we went back in the morning and to go watch this now on the big screen there. And then the cops came there and just got this guy from this table. And it was just like random people. And then the owner, Jason, he said, there's cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
So this guy fought with someone in a train station, and they followed him all the way through Shanghai till way up into the mall. They've got cameras in the restaurant. They saw where he went and sat, came in, chilled, not like flipping guns blazing or anything. Just came in, went directly to him.
We just said, you got to go now.
Said, come. And then they take you they take you to your hotel, and you must pack your stuff, and they deport you straight away.
Wild.
They don't take shit.
I knew people who were there during COVID, and apparently they, especially when that sort of African variant, that South African variant was making the rounds. One day he found himself locked in his apartment. Like they put a lock on the outside and just locked him.
Dude,
in.
I was chatting to them there. They say
And then you'd love this.
Dude.
The dude was then allowed to obviously order food
Yeah.
because he's not 100% a prisoner. So he just kept ordering Corona beer until one day, this is a classic South African cheek. And then one day they just came and didn't say anything, didn't knock, didn't tell him. They just one day came and just took the bolt off. And he was like, thank you for releasing me.
No,
China.
dude, they're crazy. And they also, like, you know, with Corona, I was speaking to a lot of people there, obviously, about it. And because it was like fucking ground zero, basically, and shit.
Yeah.
So they were like, at some stage, they only could get duck or fish. And they dropped it and put it in front of your door.
Wow.
And that's it. And you and in a hazmat suit. And you had to wait for them to walk away, and then you could take it. And it was only those two things.
Jesus.
Like they could, and remember, a lot of them stay in quite tiny flats, or little spaces. So it was really, they couldn't go anywhere, like literally nowhere. They could not move. They were like proper like that. They couldn't even go outside their door. Like they had to stay fucking like for ages. Yeah, I know.
Do you think little Zander growing up ever thought he'd be playing in China?
Fuck no, definitely not a chance. I don't even think I'd be playing anything. So China was fucking far. I mean, it's weird because I think typical in South African fashion, there is South Africans fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
So I tend to go to crazy places. You know, I've played a lot of crazy places.
What are some of the highlights?
I mean, like, for example, Russia, and I've played in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
I've played in obviously in the Middle East I play quite often, like Dubai, Bahrain, Abu Dhabi, you know, places like that.
What was Russia like?
Russia was crazy. Russia was actually, weird enough, no South Africans. It was actually just Russians. And I played because I'm
Who took you out?
So Puma, I'm sponsored by Puma.
Yeah.
And Puma Russia, it was that whole time when Zef was like big, and they like, so I kind of got like a weird following in Russia. And then, so they flew me over, and I played Puma Russia, opened like a, almost like one of those, you know, those, it was a skate park, and like one of those things where you kind of lie on, like, and the wind blows up, so it's like almost like a fake skydiving thing.
It's what they use to practice for skydiving. Yeah.
So in Gorky Park. So I played at the opening of that part of the park. So it was fucking crazy.
In Moscow?
In Moscow.
Okay,
and it was fucking crazy because it was just Russian people. There was not one single South African at that show. And it was like sold out. It was like fucking crazy. And it just was like so fucking mind blowing and weird.
Yeah.
Like that. And Russia's also so crazy because, you know, they also have like the text, like there's like hieroglyphics. Fucking, so you
they're writing. Yeah.
So you don't know what the fuck's going on. Like,
and you sometimes, you feel like you could get stuck there and like never make it out.
Yeah.
Because when there was that Iron Curtain, which people spoke of, it was very real. Like once you were in, it was very difficult to get out.
Yeah.
There's that great movie Tetris.
Oh yeah. I watched it. Yeah.
And when he was in Russia trying to get the rights for Tetris, you felt like you could never get out. Of course, that was quite a while ago.
And obviously,
they're
like,
more modern now. But
and obviously, like communism. To say if he's fucking like selling a game, then it's for the whole country. It's like always like it's crazy. That's like
all belongs to the state.
Yeah,
and he couldn't quite get the rights. It was a great movie.
Yeah.
Okay, but speaking of cool shows, you've got St. Parrow's Day.
Yeah, coming up. Fuck yeah, that's gonna be a jaw, dude.
Whose idea was that?
We last year we kind of with Robert and Tanya, they're from friends of mine from used to own Fokov Bar with them as guys from Fokov as well. We were chatting because Guinness wanted to do a jaw and they wanted to do something and we were like, fuck, well, let's just put something together. And every time, classic with fucking these big brands, I love them. I'm thankful they want to do stuff, but they're always quite last minute.
Yeah.
So it's always like a month beforehand. It's like, okay, maybe we must do it. And then okay, cool, let's do it.
Yeah.
And then it's like fucking rushed and we have to like push all the tickets like within. So it's always such a fucking light anxiety attack the whole time. But it's going to be a crazy jaw. It's going to be at Loftus Park.
Yeah.
Which I like. That's a really nice venue. It's really like also like a safe, lacquer venue. Good, like
Yeah,
No.
they do a lot of stuff there with all the other fuck-off things have been there. And
I mean,
we
it's just
played
a nice
Halloween
space.
there. It's a nice
Yeah.
spot, yeah.
So it's also Robert and them that do obviously the Halloween stuff and so on.
Yeah, no, good old
Yeah.
Arcade Empire.
Yeah.
What a cool place.
Yeah,
We long for that kind of a place to return.
Yeah, no, fuck.
But at one point, actually, Rob was asking Short Straw to play St. Parow's Fest.
Yeah.
Which we were very excited and wished we could have done, but we'd already, as you
I
said,
know.
it was a bit last minute. We have committed to something in Joburg.
Exactly, yeah.
But,
unfortunate.
But
next year.
we would love to. No,
Yeah.
and we as much as we're excited to play the show, we were all like, oh, this looks like a cool jaw. Like it would have been great to have played.
Yeah, we're gonna now it's obviously me, Black Cat Bones, Dievels Fantasties,
Yeah.
Lofi, and Yonax. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Good
going to
old-
be like a
good old
jaw.
Max.
Yeah.
That'll be lovely, man. You once
And
did.
it's on the 16th of March. Let me just finish
Yeah,
punting,
yeah,
like
yeah.
just my classic punt.
We'll
It's
give
on
it a.
St. Parow's Day on the 16th of March at Loftus Park, featuring Jack Parow, Dievels Fantasties, Yonax, Black Cat Bones, and Lofi, and a lot of drank, and a lot of lekker kinders, and a lot of lekker mense, and a lot of lekker gees. Steek uit, gaan koop jou tickets,
Steek
of het
uit.
push jou.
What is stick out? I'm such a.
Come.
Yeah.
Stick out.
Stick out. Oh, that's a nice expression.
Yeah.
I love Afrikaans. I just made it through high school. I just scraped through, but
Nice.
I appreciate more the colloquial Afrikaans that one doesn't get taught in school. You once did something similar, like a kind of Parow Fest thing, but it was in Europe.
I still do it.
You still do
yeah.
that?
Do every second year. So I do, every 2 years I do Parowfest in one in Utrecht and one in Groningen. And yeah, I'm super lucky that side. I'm on Live Nation, Moja that side. So I'm on like pretty much the biggest booking agency in the world.
Yeah.
So and my booker there is like such a rad guy. So he pushes me on like nice big festivals, and then we have this festival kind of thing that I do.
That's your own.
Yeah, it's my own. Yeah. So it's amazing. Like I'm really thankful for it. You know, I was very lucky that when Coolers Ecke blew here, it blew up in Holland as well.
What is that? Coolers Ecke. Yeah, the song. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a number one hit there as well. So it's
Oh,
been
was
going.
it?
Yeah. So fuck it. Like now it's more structured. But when that blew up there, I would do stuff like I'd play on a Friday night in Joburg and on a Saturday night in fucking Amsterdam and on a Sunday night fly back for a show in fucking Durban. Like it was fucking chaos, really.
Really?
Yeah, it was so crazy there because you know there if something's big they fucking push the shit out of it. Like I remember some days I would go from radio station to radio station and I would do Coolers Ecke like 13 times during a day. Like and you go to and you're playing like Lowlands or Pukkelpop or something, and then they got like 7 radio stations there with different booths, and you're just going around doing fucking the same song on every fucking thing. It was so crazy.
Like performing it.
Yeah.
They wanted you to do like a live performance.
on each radio station. Like fucking, it's like they you know, it's such a that machine is so well built, that like musical machine on that side. It's like everything works so fucking well there.
We got a sense of that when we dabbled and did a few sort of dips our toes into Europe. And the biggest amount of money we actually spent relative to what we were doing was that kind of radio punting, where you pay like a person to be pitching you.
Yeah.
And they give you these like comprehensive reports. They tell you blow by blow what they're doing. Like you do get bang for your buck, but that can cost you a lot of money. So if you were being given some of that stuff for free,
I was given. So the lucky thing
just
was
because
like
your song was penetrating,
Exactly.
then geez, that's half the battle won.
no, exactly. So I signed on Top Notch. They signed me, which was like the biggest rap label there.
Cool.
So that had like those times the Jeugd van Tegenwoordig, the Opposites, like all the biggest rap acts in the Netherlands on that label. And so I just slotted into that, and they just pushed the shit out of me, and it was fucking amazing. I'm like, I literally, I'm not lying to you. I think I've played every single town because it's not the biggest.
No,
I go
it's
to,
small, yeah.
and then people go like, fucking Amersfoort. Then I'm like, okay, I've played there, like this place, like, and then it's like it's insane. Because you know, like it was such a whirlwind at that time. Now it's much more structured, and it's like I go for like a month or like And then it was so crazy that I would just, and it became like so, yeah, it was just, when I think back about
Yeah.
it was like, I wish I smoked less weed and did less mushrooms and fucking could more concentrate
And
on everything and
were a bit
kind
more
of
present.
be more present.
Yeah.
And because I was just, it was just fucking like chaos. Yeah.
They laugh at Afrikaans
Yeah.
as it being this kind of like Dutch, like sort of drunk Dutch.
Yeah.
So did they still take you relatively seriously, or did they see you as even more of a comedy act?
No, they completely they took me completely seriously. I mean,
Okay.
like, you know, the comedy factor of my act is definitely maybe kind of like you kind of can see it in some of my songs, but obviously a lot of my songs is not really like just kind of.
You try and but
So my live show, if you've seen my live
Yeah,
show,
yeah.
it's quite a like almost metal show. It fucking becomes
Yeah.
so hard and it goes so fucking hard. So people will even there they love fucking hard partying fucking shit at clubs. So
they go
they
full
go
tilt,
hard. You know,
yeah.
like that fucking crazy gabba shit that they luister and that fucking Dutch techno and like that.
yeah,
It's like fucking insane.
yeah.
And so my show has become almost like that's what they come for. They come for that fucking, you know, they saw me mosh on like fucking Tussen Stasies, like the most chilled out, like
Yeah.
fucking like basically a love song.
Yeah.
They'll mosh. They fucking are just
It's a little bit
down.
like it's a little bit like Durban.
yeah.
I remember turning to someone once during a short straw set and being like, they are moshing to Keanu Reeves. Like that's a slow
Yeah.
love song, but only in Durban. Like they wouldn't do it anywhere else.
Nah, fucking crazy people, man.
That's lovely, man.
Talking about Durban, it's so sad. I fucking haven't been there in so while. There's not a lot of venues left. there.
Yeah, no, and a lot of the bands that we played a lot of shows with are all dissipated, or those guys moved to Cape Town.
Yeah.
Because you got to stay near
Yeah, so
the
the
ocean.
scene's like the scene's just DJ there now. Like it's
Yeah.
only like fucking the guys who play there are just like DJs.
And if you ever go into the comments of anything put out by big concerts, you just have angry people from Durban going, "What
Yeah.
about Durban? What
And then
about
they
Durban?"
always say, "Listen, then we come to Durban and no one fucking comes to the
Yeah.
show." So fucking. But I love Durban. I'm so bummed I don't get to go there. Like I haven't been there in quite a while.
Yeah, I just remember going there once, and just before I did a radio interview with, I think it was East Coast, and they were like, "So coming to Durban in Feb, hey? That's daring." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And they were like, "No, we call it the swamp this time of year." And I was
Oh,
like,
fuck.
"Oh no, I didn't even think about that."
Fuck yeah.
And I just remember being drenched in sweat, and we hadn't even gone on stage. Like
Yeah.
once you're on stage, you know this, you can just let go.
Yeah.
And just be like, I will be a sweaty,
Yeah.
and I can't hold back, and I don't want to hold back. But before you go on stage, sometimes you want some dignity.
Yeah.
And like,
Just so humid and
and I just
fucking
remember
hectic,
being
yeah.
like wet, and I hadn't even gone on stage, and I was like, I'm not built for this.
Dude, I fucking once played Durban, and they fucking, and it was like it was New Year's, and it was just like I played like 5 songs, and it rained so hectically. They just like we had to stop the set. It was just
Yeah.
like fucking constant
Tropical storm.
tropical
yeah.
storm.
Yeah.
And I stayed at Gateway at like a friend of mine's because I was like, I'm going to stay like 3 days. I'm here in
Yeah,
Durban now. Fuck
make
it.
the holiday.
New Year's, I'm going to stay 3 extra days. So my friend had his friends. A friend of his was away. So they were like, "Cool, you can stay in our flat," but it was a ground floor flat. And then fucking I got home, and that whole flat was under like fucking
wow.
water.
Hectic.
And I'd only by some fucking miracle not got into the main bedroom.
Yeah.
But then I fucking slept, woke up the next afternoon, obviously, after New Year's party, and it had started, like it had all this bamboo matter. And the water obviously started getting so humid and started muffing. And it was like, fuck, bro, the 3
it's
most
hardcore.
chaos days of my life, just living in a swamp, basically. Because I didn't know what to do. I tried to get it was so much water,
Well, it
and I
could
couldn't
be
get
worse.
fucking out. Yes.
The footage of that of those really bad rains and landslides. Like some people just lost half their property.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Like literally, it disappeared into the ocean.
No, definitely. But then I could have stayed somewhere else. It was
Yeah.
like, see, the thing was, it wasn't my place.
Yeah.
So
You had to sort of look after it for the person.
yeah. So I didn't know I didn't have a clue what to do with all this. Yeah, it was just chaos.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But still,
Okay.
still love Durban just as much.
Lovely. All right, let's take a little journey. We're going to go through your life because we think it's a good way to kind of get to know you. And we love to see the films that you've loved across your life because we think that has kind of helped shape who you are and who you've become. Where did we grow up?
Durbanville.
Durbanville.
Yeah.
And very cool name, by the way.
Durban.
Zander Tyler.
Oh, thanks.
It's just funny that you'll probably go your whole life with people just calling you Jack.
Yeah.
And that's fine, I guess.
Yeah.
You happy with it?
But I like it because I like having an alias because, I was actually like quite a socially like awkward and like kind of not good at, and it was fun for me at the start to be able to turn into someone else. And
Okay.
like so that's one of the main things I like about rap as well is to create those like alter egos,
Yeah. So
So I kind of like it that Jack Parow is like, I can almost cause shit as Jack Parow, and then I can hide as Zander Tyler at my house and fucking like
a
it
bit of
feels
a
like I'm a different
superhero
person.
costume.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so in Durbanville, the first film we have is the Puppy Love film, which is like one of your first memories, your first
okay.
films that you love. It's sometimes a fun, innocent film. Perhaps someone showed it to you. Can you think offhand on what came to you first?
Probably my sisters were much older than me, so they both like I think 7 and 8 years older than me.
Oh, that's quite a lot older.
Yeah, so I watched a lot of shit way before I had to watch it, and also like
Before you should have.
yeah, but I think if I remember back, I'd say my first memories of films were like Five Goes West and
nice.
The Land Before Time.
Yeah.
Even Never Ending Story.
Yeah.
That stuff is like all that kind of slightly traumatizing children movies.
Never Ending Story still slaps, man. We
Yeah.
screen it at the bioscope every now and again. It freaks kids out.
Yeah, but because it's fucking dark and weird, and I was watching the cartoons I was watching was like He-Man and fucking shit like that. So it was always like quite the characters were always quite hectic, like and there's dull stuff, like Manamarak and fucking all of that type of stuff. Always like these weird handmade fucking like fight like those like marionettes and shit.
Yeah.
And it's also like so freaky still to today. It's like such freaky shit. It's like
You've had a couple of songs that have played on that nostalgia, right? That got you thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean it's.
What was the one song where you sort of talk about?
I miss. Yeah.
That's right.
Where I'm talking about all the stuff, fucking from
Waking up and watching He-Man.
Yeah, and Murder She Wrote, and like fucking.
I love
like,
that. When you look back,
on just reading Daniel Steele, and fucking like all that type of stuff.
I look back on a few of those things that are funny. Like He-Man, I mean, it could have gotten a lot of guys thinking about guys.
Yeah.
At some point,
Maybe,
if that was your inkling, He-Man certainly helped you.
Definitely
along the way. Murder She Wrote, I still think is funny. I bring it up every now and again that like she wasn't a police detective, so she didn't need. There was no reason why she would ever be surrounded by so many people dying.
Yeah.
Yet she was just a journalist, and people just died around her all the time.
It's Angela Lansbury.
Yeah. Here's a fun little corner of the internet. So, put in Angela Lansbury sex tape.
Whoa.
It's not what you think.
Okay.
But it's pretty damn close. She, in her later life, released this video of like sort of harnessing and finding your sexuality as like an older woman.
Jeez.
And so there's footage of her like in a like jacuzzi bubble bath. At one point she's wearing this like pink felt tracksuit doing these like Kegel exercises to like help your core and your pelvis and like how you warm up.
I know what I'm watching on the plane on my way back to Cape Town.
Okay, lovely. Okay, so we grew up in Durbanville.
Yeah.
Okay. And then now we go over to high school. Where were you in high school?
I was in Durban High School.
Okay.
Yeah.
And were we rapping at this point yet?
I was not. I was I was into rap. Like I was really into rap, but I obviously thought there's no fucking chance that
Yeah.
I can rap for a living. It's like it's something so far removed from my life.
Yeah, you probably didn't have any heroes to look up to because
Well, I mean, in the Afrikaans scene, not as much. Like Brasse van die Kaap came when I was
Oh,
a
that's
little
right.
bit older. But when I was young, there wasn't any Afrikaans rap. But there was rappers. Like my first music
Sure.
I heard, the first music I liked and I got into, it was like Snoop, and that was just from like my mom buying me like Now or fucking Monster Eats.
yeah,
And then there was a Snoop song on there, and I was like, fuck, I love this. This is my style of music. So, it was because before that I was listening to, and still stuff I love, like David Kramer. I was lucky that my mom and my sisters and my dad was into that type of, David Kramer. My sisters went to Koos Kombuis, Valiant Swart. I got quite a nice alternative upbringing in music.
Okay.
That showed that like you can make different type of music in Afrikaans. Even though I obviously started by writing rap music in English because that's
Yeah.
what I heard. But also when I was at school, there was no one that was into rap. Like Eminem wasn't around yet. There wasn't like
Yeah.
it wasn't as Eminem kind of blew up rap in a worldwide kind of sense in a way. If you think about it, there was a lot of amazing rappers, but he kind of really like went across like a lot.
yeah.
So it was
I think being white, also being funny.
yeah,
like-
and that old pop kind of he became, even though he's so far from pop, he became pop as fuck.
yeah,
And it just became, he made rap like pop.
yeah,
And so I mean, but before that, I was going, and it was also like, it was like before, like the internet wasn't really like a thing, like, that
Yeah.
I had like a dial-up connection in my house, and
yeah.
I had like
Noisy
shit,
thing, yeah.
but it was like, I didn't know where to research really so what I would do is I'd go to Musica,
Yeah.
and I'd fucking stand, and there'd be like, and there was also like quite minimal amount of CDs.
There was only so much space on the shelf.
Yeah, so
literally,
rap had like fucking maybe one thing. Like
Yeah.
there was like, and then I'd go through and listen to rap, and then I'd fucking find some stuff I liked. And then I started going, there was this shop called Paperweight. I don't know if you remember Paperweight,
No.
but Paperweight was like got all the international magazines that had already like
cool.
got past their date.
Yeah.
And then it was just this room with like fuck tons of magazines, and they'd literally weigh it. So you'd buy,
Oh, yeah.
you get like,
yeah.
I would buy gaming magazines and fucking like XLs and like hip hop magazines,
Yeah.
and then I would go through that, and then
that was our version of Instagram stories. Yeah,
exactly. And then I would go at night because there was a special on Telkom from 7 till 7. You'd pay
I
like
remember
fucking
that, yeah.
like a set rate,
Yeah.
and then you could download as much as you wanted. Which was insane, and which wasn't a lot, like fucking,
Yeah.
it was so slow. But also, I think it was quite fast. Now, if you imagine going on a dial-up connection now, it would not go non-existent. But I think because not so many people had it yet,
Yeah.
it was quite fast actually.
Yeah.
And then I would go and I'd just go through the magazine and I'd look and I'd start downloading albums from these things I saw,
Yeah.
like so pirate fucking like
LimeWire,
yeah,
those
and-
kinds of things to
yeah.
get.
And then and Napster and shit.
Yeah, I remember
and then
that.
so I mean that grew. That's the only way I could do it. And then I'd actually listen how crazy this is. I would fucking go to school and people would like ask them what they want, and then I'd fucking sell pirate CDs at my school,
Yeah, yeah.
and they'd be like, they want fucking whatever, like the
The
new
new
fucking
Linkin Park or
yeah,
something. Yeah.
and then I'd go home and then I'd print the album, put the
Yeah,
sticker on
yeah.
everything, and then I'd sell it. Oh, fucking arselil.
But you say you were a bit of an introvert. But I mean, were you coming out of your shell a bit, or did you have your people?
I mean, so I don't really know. Like, I had friends in school and stuff, but not really. I never really completely felt like there was anyone in my school that like they were like a different like type of friend. So I would,
Okay.
you know, I've like I would. You know, I love them and for what they were in my life, but you know, I think when I started like standard 5 or 6, I started going on holiday. We changed the town. We started going to Hermanus and stuff on holiday, and then I met really people that had the same kind of thinking.
Yeah.
Like we were surfing and listening to like Cypress Hill and like, you know, like finally people like that
Found your tribe.
yeah,
Yeah.
but, and that could also like give me music that I would like to like, you know. And then like so my one friend, for example, Mark Morstead, was really into like fucking like all this trip hop shit that was coming out then. So like Dr. Octagon and Deltron 3030 and like super like left wing fucking rap, like experimental rap.
Okay.
So then I got into that, and then I just started growing. You know, the first time I still funny, but Merve, who does my designs and stuff, actually one of my oldest friends.
Marchand.
Yeah, Marchand, yeah.
Yeah.
He played me like Bob Dylan for the first time I heard Bob Dylan, probably when I was like 19.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's how completely into rap and into that scene, drum and bass. Like I went from rap to like trip hop, drum and bass, you know, that kind of stuff. DJ Shadow, DJ Crush, you know, that kind of stuff. So that was all I wanted to listen to. It was all that took over my whole life from, say, when I was 12 till I was like 20.
And then what kind of movies?
Movies, I was super into horror.
Okay.
So I was like a super horror freak. So I watched like Nightmare on Elm Street. My sisters were in London and they came back. And it's actually a crazy story and they had bought The Exorcist because it was banned in South Africa. And they had bought The Exorcist and they bought it back.
Like a VHS or something?
Yeah, on like VHS or something. And I wasn't allowed to watch it.
Yeah.
And they said they kind of hid it. And then I found it and I watched it. And
on your
I had
own?
to sleep next to my mom and my dad on the floor for like 2 years. I was so terrified. That fight scarred me.
How old were you with that?
I think like 12 or something.
Okay, so that's perhaps like just on the cusp of high school.
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe a little bit, maybe 10.
Okay.
Like, and it was really fucking scarring.
Yeah.
But I mean, it like, I think all that shit, you know, made me who I am. Like, it made my brain work the way it works.
Yeah.
You know, I watched,
opened up that room, like, this exists.
Yeah, exactly.
Satan exists.
Yeah. And fucking, and then like Candyman, and you know, just
there was quite a like strong period of those kinds of horrors.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember, Candyman, Nightmare on Elm Street, all that stuff.
And so that was a big part of my. So I went from like fucking Never-Ending Story to like Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
And it was just like that first one. Also, like it was
Nightmare
just
on Elm
such
Street's it's scary.
fucking hectic.
And it's still
It. I was so scared of it, bro.
But It now is different.
Yeah.
Like when you rewatch that Tim Curry
it's-
It now, it's kind of silly.
and it's ridiculous how real it looked.
Yeah.
That fucking
When he became the
puppets
thing.
and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, that was the realest thing of my life. Now I'm like, how the fuck did I think that this was a real fucking thing?
But I mean, when you watch a movie like that or The Thing,
Like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, where they built all that fucking shit as well.
do you remember the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids with the big ants and the scorpion?
Yeah.
Remember how scary that
Yeah.
scorpion was? But a lot of those practical effects are a little bit funny now, and we're a bit, one can be a bit comical when you watch it now, but they still slap in a weird kind of way.
Yeah.
Even though it's a bit silly now, they're still, because they were real, your brain registers it as real. So it does feel different than watching CGI.
CGI, yeah.
It does sort of slap different.
No, that is true what you're saying.
But in high school, were there any like hip hop or like sort of rap themed movies or things that you were seeing?
Yeah. There was like Friday. There was like what was it? Like off the top of my head. But there was a few, because I got really into that scene as well. When I was listening to rap, I was also watching mostly fucking stuff with like Ice Cube and
Yeah.
like stuff like people like Ice-T in and fucking
Yeah.
Snoop and like stuff because I was really into that scene.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, so far removed from my fucking South African upbringing. It was so American, so like hood,
Yeah.
Boys in the Hood, for example,
yeah.
that type of stuff. So, but I was watching a lot of that. Like I was really like, that was pretty much all I wanted to watch for a stage. And then I had like I had like 2 movies when I was in high school that was always at my house. Or actually, the main ones I can remember from my sister is Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Okay.
That was like my sister's favorite movie, and then Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Okay.
So every day, if I would bunk school or I would act like I'm sick, it was like the only thing that was on tape at our house. So I watched Ferris Bueller's Day Off like
Which is
a
also
million
great.
times.
It's a great film.
Yeah, I love it. I still love it.
It's very heartwarming. I haven't watched Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. I know of it.
Yeah, it's crazy. My sister's 50th birthday was actually now last week, and I have one of those crazy short projectors, and we did the whole wall at this bar that we had, or this outdoor venue that we had it at, called Texas, and we did like the whole wall, Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, just like in loop and
On
stuff.
loop, yeah. Lovely, man. Okay, after high school, where did we go? What did we do?
After high school, I went and moved to Cape Town, but also still lost high school stuff, fucking also obviously like the classics, like, Jurassic Park,
Yeah.
like was fucking massive at that time, there's like so many, if you start going on movies, you'll go forever. But then, after school, I moved, I wanted to go, like, so my friends all went to Stellenbosch, and I just couldn't find anything I wanted to do really there.
Okay.
So I, just applied to fucking do like because I just knew like I was into, because you remember like at school also there was like rekenaarstudie and like then you did, now at school there's so much shit they can do, like
Kids are doing like robotics now.
I had like tuck, which is like not smoking meth, but like actually a typewriter, fucking sitting and fucking typing on a typewriter. That type of shit you had in Durbanville when I was at school.
To learn how to type well. Yeah.
And then I was
it's like almost like training to be like a receptionist. Or
fucking
something.
100%.
Yeah.
And I was obviously being who I fucking was at school. I was like trying to take the shit that I took the least work. So I was like, I'll do tuck. I was like the only boy in the fucking class. Which is also kind of weird. Like that makes it even more like training for a receptionist.
Yeah.
Like it's so fucking weirdly it's just weird.
Quite sexist.
Sexist. And then art was also like a kind of a weird. So to me, there was no bands for example, in my school.
Okay.
So I just like, for me, being able to be creative and make music and stuff was like not even.
Just wasn't on the card.
It wasn't on the card. So I was like, cool. I'm a big gamer. Like I've always been a gamer since fucking the first like family entertainment system and shit.
Yeah.
And even like a Commodore and stuff like that. So I knew, okay, I wanted to do something in that line, like whether it's like, so I applied to do IT course in fucking Stellenbosch. Thank God I didn't get in, because I think IT would have not been the right direction for me.
Yeah.
And then, so I was like, fuck it, I'm going to take a year off and chill. So then I moved to Cape Town.
Okay.
And then like my whole fucking life changed, because then that scene was popping with like that whole dope scene with
African
like
dope, the
African
record
dope,
label, yeah.
And it was like Odessa and like fucking, there's so much rap shit going on, Max Normal, fucking Cybot, like that whole Felix LeBand, like that was just like a very like alternative scene happening, which is not happening anywhere else.
Yeah.
So that really opened my eyes, and then I saw that, and then I kind of realized, fuck, there's people that actually rap for a living in fucking, and I can actually maybe make music, not for a living, but I can actually, living is the wrong thing.
Fun, yeah.
I can do it for fun. There's people, I'm not the weird kid that likes rap music. I'm like now one of a million fucking people that like it. So it was like nice, and the parties were like homegrown, and there's like bars like Zula Bar and like fucking the Jam and stuff that was just like rap, like hip hop clubs.
Yeah.
And it was just like such a cool scene to finally fucking just like belong. Like it was so rad.
And okay, so now in this time, because I think this is obviously the key, like pivotal time in your life. Do you remember any movies?
I remember big ones were like Pulp Fiction, you know, the whole Quentin Tarantino, like I was a really big Reservoir Dogs, and then also like Requiem for a Dream, Spun, fucking like.
I know of Spun. I've heard of Spun. What is Spun again?
It's the same, but just same director, but then just a little bit more meth. Where Requiem for a Dream is heroin, obviously, and Spun is more meth.
Okay.
So and then it's but it's like, and you know, then and like Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels fucking you know, it was a kind of a cool alternative. There's a lot of alternative, like, feels to me movies coming out at that stage, because before that it was not, it felt very cookie cutter, and there was a lot of like pushing the boundaries like in the mainstream. It was obviously there before in the underground, but it felt like kind of weirdness became like quite a mainstream scene, which was lacquer.
Yeah, I think Pulp Fiction was definitely one of those films where, it pushed what was very underground and experimental into such a commercial space. And Requiem for a Dream is a wild movie.
Fuck, I almost moved back to my mom's house after I watched that shit. I was like, I can't be in this Cape Town anymore. It's this fucking scene, because it's so scarring, right? It's like, and it starts you, it builds you up so fucking high, and it just fucking throws you down to the floor there at the end.
In that wild chaos.
I was obsessed with that movie. I was like, really, like, it was for me, like, because, you know, I was also in a very, you know, once again, I felt so alone in many ways in school, that I was, for the first time, you know, also meeting girls that were like alternative and like more my style. So it was very much for me like a very forming years, that 20 till about 25 was so important in my life, because it really, because I had none of that, I could never really be completely myself at school. I always had to put on a different type of person, because I was bullied quite hectically when I was younger. And then I just became good at rugby, which fucking saved me in Afrikaans school. So then people stopped bullying me because I was playing first team rugby and stuff like that.
Okay, so in high school you were first team.
Yeah, so I played rugby. I played Craven Week. I played fucking Western Province under 21. I played long rugby, because it became like a saving grace for me, and in a sense of belonging, I think. Which I needed. So then being after school and then I was still like even playing rugby. So I would drive back to Durbanville for rugby practices on a Tuesday and a Thursday at the Durbanville club rugby, and I was still playing a lot of rugby. And then mixed with this, so I had that scene still with those friends. And once again, there's nothing again. I'm not saying like those people they were just like, I was just like in a different. My mind was just a little bit in a different space. And then staying in Cape Town with actually one of my very good friends that I was at school with, who moved to Cape Town with me as well. And we rented this house next to then Kloof Street at the top of Kloof Neck. There's that little cafe, Kloof Neck Super Red, and there's these two semi-detached houses, one of those. And we're just like 7 guys just living in there and smoking fucking weed from like the morning, waking up till fucking going to sleep.
Did you go down to the lobby then?
I did here and there, because you could drink at the lobby as well.
Yeah.
But I think my, fucking most of my movie watching was also pirating and watching at home and staying in a house with a bunch of guys. We had like a server, and like fucking everything would be thrown on. Then we'd watch movies and fuck. It was really rad. It was a really rad space. And then so and also then I stayed with this guy Herman from Benau. He was actually a fucking super good rollerblader. It's like SA Champ rollerblader.
Remember when that was a thing?
Yeah. And he was like, and I was living with him, but he was like the best in the country. He's like,
did you ever watch the movie Airborne?
Of course I watched Airborne. I was a big rollerblader. I love fucking rollerblading.
I
had like those gold
day.
oxygens.
Oh.
Fuck, bro. That was like my biggest. I was like my.
That was your pinnacle.
That was my pinnacle. I was like, fuck. It was so good. I loved them.
It was all downhill, literally from there.
Yeah, I know.
No, Airborne's great. I watched it the other day. It's like literally the one and only
Yes, where
movie.
did you watch it?
A pirate.
Fuck, I want
It's
to watch
not
it as
anywhere.
well.
It's lost. You know,
Yeah,
it's not.
spitting like a washing machine. Like I just remember that line when he's talking about how what surfing is like, and it's the devil's backbone is that most the hill that he has to go down.
Yes.
Now I fucking loved Airborne, and now that you say it, you know what? There was another big one that I watched is Cool as Ice,
Cool as
Vanilla Ice's movie.
Oh.
Fuck, have you not watched that?
No, here
Do
you are
yourself a
recommending movies to me.
motherfucking favor. It's got that classic lines in there like drop that zero and get with the hero. And he's like, so bad, bro. It's so bad, it's good.
Yeah.
And he's got like those lines in his head, and he's
Yeah.
just like got the craziest outfits. On the cover, he's like on like a lime green Kawasaki Ninja. Like if you see it, the cover, you'll know the fucking cover. They use it a lot for like flyers of like 90s parties. It's fucking great, dude. You have to watch it.
Yeah, so Airborne is literally the one and only movie ever made about rollerblading and the rollerblading scene because it was that short. It's got a young Seth Green, a young Jack Black in it.
No way.
Yeah, if you go back.
I'm definitely watching it.
You know, remember he had to spend some time with his cousin. That was the premise. His parents, he lived in California, his parents had to go away, and so for 6 months of the year, now he had to stay with his cousin in some snowy little shit American town. The cousin was Seth Green.
No way.
And then one of the bully dudes at school was Jack Black.
Oh my fuck! I can't wait. I'm definitely watching
but
this.
the poster's
Can't
got
wait.
the most amazing lines like, some kids were just born to fly. Or like,
Well, you're gonna love Cool as Ice. You're
Okay.
gonna have some golden lines in that
Okay.
one, bro. It is
lovely.
fucking just like one liner after one liner, bro. It's like
I love
so
that.
good.
Okay. Okay, so we did our sort of more hardcore, Pulp Fiction, Requiem for a Dream in that kind of time. It's so funny. Everybody still, sometimes thinks of Pulp Fiction as a very easy to take in movie. So like often when the Bioscope is being asked to curate stuff and people are thinking like, what's a cool movie that we could screen at this kind of film fun night? And some people go, yeah, Pulp Fiction. I was like, have you seen it?
Yeah, it's pretty
Like,
hectic.
Do
yeah.
you remember it?
Yeah.
It's like there were ODs and sodomy and like it's very violent.
Very fucking
Do you
violent.
remember that? Do you remember the movie?
People romanticize it. I think people romanticize, especially like Quentin Tarantino
They've
stuff.
made him so much bigger than
Yeah.
he is. And like when a film like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood comes out, your average person that thinks they know Tarantino walks out of that going like, it's boring.
Yeah,
what was
yeah.
it about? And
Yeah,
I was like,
exactly,
well,
yeah.
you're not the target market.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
wasn't for you.
Yeah.
Like,
And even Pulp Fiction, it's quite a draggy story if you actually watch it. It's fucking intense, but it's a certain flow that it goes,
Yeah,
and it's
sure.
not always the easiest for people to
No.
to watch. Yeah.
okay, so when was Jack Parow created?
It was 20. So I'd say like I think around 2020. Listen, 2020.
No.
Fuck, I'm going crazy.
Yeah.
So probably about 2000, and I was 24.
Okay, well,
So
in relation to this Cape Town time, you're exposed to the scene.
Well,
Is it
so
born
then
in
I
that?
first I did English rap first. So then I started rapping with these guys because I was like freestyling and stuff and just trying shit out, and I met these guys who were like in a crew, and
Yeah.
like so then I started rapping. Then I had to think of a name, and I was smoking so much weed, so obviously Bong Scare was my name, like not like fucking that was my first rap name.
Bong Scare.
Classic first. That's like first emails, It's like first rap names are also that bad. So Bong Scare was my
Bong Scare at Gmail.
yeah,
At
fucking-
Hotmail.
fucking worst. And then I was in this crew called Family, but without an I because there's no I in Family. It's like fuck. It was like that's like where we're at. But that got me into the scene, and we started writing together. Like we just did,
Okay, cool.
and there wasn't obviously a lot of like rappers, but the scene was big.
Yeah.
So we just jumped on like stages, and you could fucking do, and there was like all these like just like open mic nights, and you
Sure,
just
sure.
fucking rap shit, and I was like really bad, but it kind of obviously honed my art in these like weird
Yeah.
fucking dingy clubs and taxi ranks and fucking Mitchell's Plain at like fucking
Oh, wow.
weird fucking places.
You
and
went
like,
you went into the
because remember, it was not like a choice. It was a choice. I had fucking nothing. I like Park Jams in Mitchell's Plain. I love it. It's fucking great, like fucking spirit there, and I love it. But it was just like as a fucking 20-year-old fucking white kid, I was like quite fucking like, I was also like kind of tuned in many ways. So I was like always that kind of only white kid there.
Okay, so
And-
you had to sort of prove yourself.
But then luckily I got really taken under the wing by like some really fucking, some of the best rappers in South Africa, best Afrikaans rappers of all time, you know, Garlic, Brown, Knoffel from Brasse van die Kaap, Isaac Mutant, who they say is like the first guy to ever rap in Afrikaans, Scallywag, you know, this guy Chronic X, like all these guys kind of just looked after me and kind of saw something in me and like gave me the fucking balls to keep going and pushing it and doing it and like
The cred to do it.
Yeah, and just like because before that I was as I said, I was very like, I felt quite bullied and I didn't have that
The confidence
to do shit. I felt like everything I was doing was shit no matter what it was. And for the first time I had like guys like kind of really building me up and saying, fuck, it's rad, let's like keep doing it, pushing it. So then I was that for rapping in English for a while, and then I started rapping, and then me and Knoffel and Isaac Mutant and Scallywag, this other guy, these three Afrikaans rappers started Afrikaans crew called Die Donker Mag.
Okay.
And then we did this song where I was like and then I was still kind of wanting to rap in English, but and actually just before we started that crew, we wrote a song in the English rap crew that I was in called Hard-Headed Hobo. And they were like, I'm like the boer, and they like the hobos. And I was like, okay, fuck, if I'm like a boer, I have to rap in Afrikaans. So it's the first time I wrote Afrikaans. And as soon as I wrote one sentence in Afrikaans, I was like, I fucking cannot believe I've never written Afrikaans.
Because there's a poetry to Afrikaans.
Yeah, and just as myself, I could write it. I felt myself for the first time ever. I was like, not, you know, when I was writing English, I never felt like I was right. I'm sure if you go and write Afrikaans now.
Yeah, no,
you know,
I couldn't legitimately
yeah,
pull it off. Yeah.
So it was for the first time in Afrikaans, I felt like I was being myself.
Yeah.
And then I was like, fuck, I'm never writing in English again. And then we started this Donker Mag crew. So then I was rapping there, but then I had to get an Afrikaans name. So I was like, fuck, I can't be like Bong Scare anymore. And anyway, and then I was driving to a show, and I was like, fuck, I need a new name. And then I was like, and there was like on the polls, there was like, as die kat weg is die muisbaas. So then my name was Mice's Boss. So so that was my first Afrikaans rap name. So if you actually still speak to a lot of the underground rappers and people, like you'll still even, I did a song with like, he was like a b-boy in Brasse van die Kaap, like a kid. Bliksemstraal. He did a song on my new album, and he says Mice's Boss. So like,
What does that mean?
It's like if
Women's
the cat,
boss.
if mice is boss, so it's mouse is boss. When the cat is away, the mouse is boss. So I was like, almost like, you know, when all these fucking, like, I'm coming up from the underground when all these fucking, So I was still actually, weirdly enough, being like putting myself down in some weird way, actually, if I think about it at this very moment. But yeah, so Mice's Boss. And then that was for quite a while. And then in about, I think, 2006, I got home drunk one night and was watching Pirates of the Caribbean.
I was about to say, it only dawned on me recently when I was thinking about now.
Yeah, a lot of people say that.
Having you meet, I was like, it's a Jack Sparrow thing.
Yeah, fuck. It's like,
and
a lot of people actually like don't get it. And it wasn't like, but also that being said, so the play was like, I was watching it and I was like, fuck Jack Sparrow, the Pirate of the Caribbean. I'm Jack Parow, the Pirate of the Caravan Park.
Yeah.
And then it was like a joke for a while, and then it became my rap name.
Because
I was born in Parow. So it was a play on that, but it does obviously a hard play on
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, I must say it wasn't an obvious for me, which is actually quite nice.
Yeah, which is
that
quite
you
nice.
live past this kind of Disney franchise,
and which is amazing. Like I feel.
And it's easy to remember. You know, like an international audience.
I know.
You know,
that is a big thing which I learned also, and I think that played into it a bit.
Macy Boss.
Yeah, Mice's Boss and Bong Scare and fucking I was General Quick Draw McGraw, and like I had all these rap names, and I always wanted to be like, because I liked people like, you know, Snoop Dogg or
Something easy to remember,
people with two things, MF Doom, like fucking, there's people that had a name.
Yeah.
And
it's a good, strong name, and it's a character that people will remember you as. There's one last film which I hope you can think of, which is the film you would settle down with.
Yes.
It's the all time. It could have been a previous film that you've mentioned, or
I quite like epics. So I like a Lord of the Rings trilogy. And
that is also a testament to your music. You don't half-ass it.
Yeah, I like fucking big things like that.
You go big and epic, yeah.
And then, Pirates of the Caribbean, I can't put that down. It was such a big part of me, part of my forming.
Fun fact, that's the only movie, that was the first movie to have ever been adapted from a
Disney ride.
A ride.
Yeah,
the ride came first.
Yeah. Have you been on that ride?
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy, that animatronics. And it's so old in the one, like that shit's
the original
built,
Disneyland one, yeah.
So long ago, but it looks so fucking crazy and realistic.
No, it's done well.
Yeah. But I think that, I think that definitely those. With movies, once you start thinking, you can go forever because there's just
rope that just keeps unraveling.
Yeah,
sure.
and I think we grew up in a very much like video. So movies were much more. You kind of spend time to choose one. Now you're fucking on Netflix and you're like, oh, everything's shit. Why is there nothing? I'm like, bro, there's like a million movies. Everything's shit. I don't want to watch any of this stuff. It's kind of crazy. Not that everything's shit. I mean, that's how spoiled we are. I don't mean it in that way. The movies are good. There's fucking good movies, but it feels like we're so spoiled that we don't watch anything at the end of the night.
Totally.
We just end up scrolling, scrolling as well. Netflix and chill, but scrolling.
No, but I had a theory that like we actually put up with more shit movies in the video store era because you went all the way there, you paid your good money, you drove all the way back, or sometimes you maybe even walked.
Yeah, so you would fucking watch it.
And it's like there wasn't anything else, so you actually put
maybe
up...
if you're lucky, you got some boob in it.
Yeah.
And your mom wouldn't catch you, and you'd fucking get some good times there. It was fucking great.
Do you remember the movie Starship Troopers?
Of course.
Remember how that was like a little bit of everything?
When you said it first, I wanted to say also probably Anchorman, and fucking and that whole genre,
that would have been more your
Step
Cape
Brothers.
That would have been more your Cape Town Stoner House comedy. Yeah.
But I still love like Will Ferrell and that whole fucking vibe. I'm a big I went from horror, just watching horrors when I was young, to fucking just watching comedy. Like, so comedy is my thing. I love comedy. I watch anything that, and I think that was also such a nice, like, fucking great movement. That whole. Talladega Nights.
Yeah, well, so the thing to remember with Will Smith, which I think people forget, Will Ferrell. Sorry, is that he plays it straight.
Yeah.
He doesn't play it funny.
Yeah.
He's
just funny.
He's dead serious about being Ricky Bobby.
Yeah.
Like, he's dead serious.
Yeah.
or the Anchorman stuff. It's like. That's what makes it so funny. Is how serious he is.
And he's just and what's his name that's always with him, man?
John C. Reilly.
Yeah, John C. Reilly.
Shaking
fucking
baby.
love John C. Reilly, and even in stuff like Kenny Powers, like fucking Eastbound and Down, and there's just so much fucking. There's like a group of them that just fucking anything they do, I just fucking like.
Yeah.
I can't, and it is that because it's if you kind of. Play it like you say. You play it seriously. It's even more funny because it's like it just like the character just I love it. Okay. I love it. So I think if you all time is probably more Talladega Nights, Anchorman, and fucking anything. And my character is quite based on also like a Danny McBride in Eastbound and Down.
Very much so. I see that.
So that kind of. So it's a bit of Pirates of the Caribbean and a bit of Eastbound and Down.
Pirate meets Kenny Powers.
Trailer Park meets the pirate, Joe. Meets the fucking the seven seas.
That makes sense. But listen, man, thank you for popping in. As you said, we could probably talk about movies all day. Good luck for St. Paris Day, man.
Yeah, fuck. I think it's
going to be a
jewel.
going to be a big jewel. And
next year you'll be there.
next year we'll be there.
Yeah, I'll book you. I'll hopefully
you now.
book it earlier. We have to get confirm it a little bit earlier.
Lovely. Cool, man. Well, thanks for the time. I hope you enjoy your time in Joburg.
Lekker.
And we'll see you soon.
But fuck,
Cheers.
pillar.
All right. What a great chat.
Yeah.
Happy dude.
Right.
Happy, enthusiastic, and just there.
Yeah.
And just a solid guy. I had the lovely pleasure of meeting his sister as well.
Okay.
And also just a solid person that just goes perfect. She's involved in an event that we're going to do this coming week. So it's just lovely that it all kind of came together.
Yes.
I saw him in Old Ermelo this past weekend. And it's just great to be that much closer to that person because you spent this 40 minutes, hour-long chat, like really getting to know them.
Yeah.
Have you had my pumpkin pie?
Literally?
Yes, literally. What would a pumpkin pie be
Well, I
metaphorically?
think we're just trying to figure out what's the
trying
sequence
to figure
here.
out figuring out what you're talking about.
Okay, so I have this
No,
amazing...
you did not bake for me when we
Okay.
lived together in
Oh,
lockdown.
sorry.
You and me were learning how to cook.
Yeah, we did well,
And we
dude.
really learned how to cook. Graham,
Yeah.
you should have seen us.
Risotto, man.
We made these, we had this lovely ritual. So for those who haven't heard it, myself and Cole lived together in lockdown. And we got one of those delivery services where they give you the ingredients and they give you the recipes.
Right.
And here were myself and Cole kind of coming into our own adulthood,
Yeah.
learning how to cook. So we would put on a nice soundtrack. It was often Kiss.
And we'd switch.
We would
I think it
switch.
would be my
When it was
playlist,
Cole-
your playlist.
When it was Cole's turn, it was Kiss.
Right.
We made cocktails out of all the liquor that was left.
What was the name of
not the liquor we had, the
Yeah.
liquor that was left.
What was the name of the cocktail you kept on making? That summery one.
Well, we were making Winko Jinkos at one point. No, but then we were making White Russians.
Yes.
So we ran out of vodka and we started using rum.
Yes.
So we called them White Pirates.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Why are you bringing up your pumpkin pie?
Because my family, I have on my dad's side a ton of Afrikaans family, the Bassons in
Okay.
Ermelo. And next to my granny or with my granny lives Kator is her name.
Okay.
For some reason, she's called Tani Katuk. I
Right.
don't know what the reason is. Afrikaans people are
A wonderful
of
in
a
that
type.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And she has a pampuntat recipe, and it's a winner. Jonathan Rocksmith loved it. Made
Okay,
it
so
for his birthday.
you now make the pumpum tat.
Yeah, it's like I've got a rep. It's the only thing I'm known for in the kitchen. It's like
Okay.
people want me to make the pumpkin pie. Like, are you bringing the pumpkin pie?
I could,
Like, it's all I can do.
I could settle down with old Tunny.
Yeah.
If she feeds me milk tart,
Yeah, dude.
I love a good milk tart.
Or like a little home industry
Right.
Yeah,
situation
with a
happening
nice
with
little-
the tunny.
Nice little sprinkle of that, whatever that brown stuff is.
Cinnamon.
On the top. Cinnamon. Yeah.
Okay. It's spice from Shai Hulud.
Yeah.
Okay, Oscars.
All right.
Oscars. I suppose we're just going to go through it in the order that it's on the website.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
That makes sense. We're going to start at the bottom, though, so that we end with Best Picture.
Cool.
Cool.
So we're going to start with Best Writing, a.k.a. Best Original Screenplay.
Okay.
Okay.
We want to do nominees, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have Past Lives, May December, Maestro, Holdovers, and the winner is Anatomy of a Fall.
okay.
One of the ones we haven't seen.
Yes.
Yeah, Anatomy of a Fall was a tough one, and a lot of people have asked me in the bioscope, so when are you screening it? Or why aren't you screening it?
Right.
And I think it's important to mention each film is in its own unique little place, and that place for Anatomy of a Fall is not in South Africa because
right.
no one, for whatever reason, and it could be a multitude of reasons, no one picked up the distribution rights for South Africa.
Right.
So it is currently stuck. It screened once or twice as part of the European Film Festival. So folks must look out for the European Film Festival when it happens every year because you'll see these kinds of films, these smaller, beautiful, really great films that are in their festival life,
Right.
which is the first life of a film. And based on your awards, you then hopefully pick up distributors.
Right, that snowball begins rolling.
Yes.
Yeah, and with the Bioscope upgrading this year, I've spent far more time like understanding and working with the distributors in South Africa. They aren't stupid. So they would have taken it if they could.
Yes.
Right.
They would have looked at it. They would have considered it. Something stopped them from getting it. Who
No,
knows?
totally. It's
Maybe
probably
it-
a fringe movie, dude.
Maybe it came in at too high a price for what they were expecting to make.
Yeah.
So it's those kinds of things. But
I mean, that being said, like the critics that I follow and respect, and a lot of the film dorks that I'm friends with, a lot of them say it's top 3 of the
yes,
year.
well, throwback to Leon van Nierop, arguably the most seasoned film critic in
Yeah.
our galaxy. And he reckoned that was his favorite. So
Wow.
small movie. It's about literally this kind of crime moment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
a
think-
woman's accused of murdering her husband.
So
Yes.
someone literally falls from a balcony.
Oh,
and
what a
it's,
cool title.
And it's in this sort of snowy mountain thing. There's a dog involved.
Oh, I'm in.
But it becomes a crime scene.
It's like that Mark Wahlberg movie that's coming out with the dog that goes on the hike with him.
oh,
right.
how good?
Dude,
Yeah. It
I'm
looks
in.
like it's such a good happy cry. I'm
no, I don't know
considering
if I can do a dog movie though.
I'm considering showing it at the Bioscope. It's called something the Great. Adam
Mark Wahlberg and dog.
we digress. We
So,
digress.
but like I think I
So-
hadn't seen May December with Julianne Moore and Natalie Portman. I
Yes.
think.
Yeah.
But Past Lives, you guys know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Past Lives is amazing. We
Yeah.
screened it at the Bioscope this last Sunday,
Yes.
and it did so well.
Oh,
Nice.
and the director's name
Of
of Past Lives, Celine Song.
Yeah,
Yes.
I
Yeah.
saw that. I'm busy watching The Wheel of Time series,
Oh, okay, yeah.
and she's a staff writer on The Wheel of Time, or
Oh,
the
right.
staff writer,
Yeah.
so writing the scripts.
Past
Okay.
Lives is amazing. Okay, so just one thing. Original screenplay sounds a bit obvious, but
Yes.
it's literally that. It's a story that is completely original
Yeah.
because let's get into what's perhaps the next one.
Adapted screenplay.
So that means it's based off something that exists. So that
Yes.
could be a book,
Yeah.
it could be a theme park ride,
Be a
like
musical.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
It could be anything. In the case of Barbie, it's
Based on a toy.
a product and the
Yes.
law of the product. So
Yeah.
so it's not an entirely original in that regard.
Yes.
Okay, so the nominees were
Zone of Interest, Poor Things, Oppenheimer, Barbie, and the winner was American Fiction. Again, one we haven't seen.
And that's
Yeah.
on Prime.
it's
Oh, is
coming
it?
to
Yeah.
Prime or it's on Prime.
It's on
eh?
Prime.
Sick.
Okay, American Fiction seems so funny.
Yeah, it seems like a cool,
And-
really cool movie.
And people have said, like, this is the funniest Oscar contender there's probably ever been.
Really?
I don't know about that. I'm going to bring up A Fish Called Wanda. I think that was considered for Best Picture once. And
Cool.
Full Monty.
I think
Yeah.
I just used the words one of. Okay. You film snob.
Sorry. I'm always here for an argument, but you forgot about this movie.
But yeah, American Fiction also didn't come to South Africa. Probably, I don't know, maybe because it was very American in
Yeah.
its sense. But I
in
think
the
some of
name.
its themes will be quite universal. But
Yeah.
I think it definitely relates to the race politics of America.
Yes.
But the funny premise is a writer who's kind of black, but he's not black enough, makes this kind of fake story that then does very well, and he's got to grapple with his own sense of blackness as
Yeah.
everybody thinks his story is based on him, and then he's got to play a character.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, it seems very fun. Where
Yeah.
the guy was like, "No, your books aren't selling because
Well,
It's
it's,
not-
about Thelonious Monk.
I've heard the name."
Yeah.
Who is he?
Isn't
I
he a
also
musician?
recognize the name. I thought he was a muso. Same.
I'm looking it up. Just talk amongst yourselves.
Okay, no, but there's this great moment where he's the main character is with his publisher. The publisher's like, they say it's not black literature, and he's like, I'm black. It's literature. How is it not black literature? But yeah,
But it's
no,
Jeffrey. It's Jeffrey Wright. For those of you who don't
Yes.
know, he's the new Commissioner Gordon in Batman,
Yeah.
and he's got
And
this.
James Bond's friend.
fun. Yeah.
Why do you say James Bond's
Because
friend?
he's in he's in Casino
Casino
Royale
Royale.
and all those in those movies.
Oh, he
He's
is.
like the CIA dude.
Oh,
And
yes.
he pops up every now and then. Okay, so it's Thelonious Sphere Monk. His middle name is Sphere,
That's
Okay.
cool.
which is pretty rad. He's
Take
a
it- take-
jazz pianist and composer.
Yeah, I was about to say there was definitely music involved.
Yeah.
But take the most awesome name and add one more awesome.
Yes. Some
Okay.
geometry. That's what you need
All right.
for a rad
Okay.
name.
Right?
Lovely, but I think yeah, when I love this. Whenever someone speaks about, we must have the conversation.
Yes.
And you're like, how? When? With who?
Yeah.
How are we going to do? How are we going to have the conversation? And then you realize it's multitude of conversations.
Yes.
And this film definitely seems to be one of them.
Right.
So, okay. Barbie didn't win.
No.
No.
I think that was what people kind of expected.
Yeah, maybe.
Potentially.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think it's just a really incredible exercise of taking a toy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
And-
the writing of it was incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The concept is amazing.
I think
Yeah.
people were hoping it was going to win because Greta Gerwig didn't get nominated for Best Director.
Yeah, and so
Right.
the
I
hope
think-
was like, this could be Barbie's
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Alright.
Next one.
Best Visual Effects.
Okay.
We have Napoleon, Mission Impossible, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, The Creator, and the winner, this one actually surprised me, Godzilla -1.
People were
Really?
hoping.
Yeah.
I saw great like what culture videos where they're like, what
What culture?
yeah.
I
No,
know,
what
because you
cul-
kept on saying what, so I was
Yeah,
like,
sorry.
culture.
And they did a great video on each category and what they think should win and what will probably win.
Okay.
And Godzilla -1 was what they wished would win but probably wouldn't.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay.
But we went to it. Great.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
a visual feast. I think The Creator could have been an interesting one.
I was going to say, I think
Yeah.
it should have gone to The Creator.
Same.
But
Yeah.
I'm not mad about Godzilla getting it, but the stuff in The Creator is like...
I'm just like, that rotoscoping one.
Yeah. The thing about The Creator is it's kind of like there's new stuff in there. There's things that
Yes.
have never been done before.
Yes.
You know.
Exactly. Was the Godzilla in Godzilla a man in a suit?
No. All CG.
Was it all CG?
Yeah.
Because that
Look,
looked,
the visual effects in that movie are incredible.
They are incredible.
Especially considering the budget.
Yeah, exactly.
You
Because
know.
my thing is that he has weight. That's why I immediately went to, it's a guy in a suit.
Yes.
And they've like comped and done
Yeah.
a whole bunch of little
But even
bag
stuff
of
like
tricks.
all the stuff with like the ships. Obviously, they don't have like World War II era Japanese ships.
Yeah.
So that's all CGI.
Okay, fuck.
You
Yeah.
know? Like
It's one of
there's-
those things where like watching a Fincher movie and it's like, oh, like there's 20% VFX in this frame. and
Speaking
you
of
don't see
that,
it.
what I think could have been nominated for this was a film you watched. I haven't seen it, Naiad.
Oh, for visual effects.
Because all of the ocean scenes, when they're in the ocean in that film, all of the water is CGI.
Oh, interesting.
It's all CGI.
Where was
I
she
would
swimming?
never-
in like they had like a big tank sort of thing, but
Oh,
like a
okay. I
tank.
thought you meant like the water she was swimming in as well was CGI. I
No,
was
it
like,
is. They've replaced it.
They replaced the water?
all of the water, because like a tank doesn't look like the ocean. The color's wrong. It doesn't move enough.
Oh my
Because a tank is
goodness.
just like flat.
I
You
would
know, that's not
never
what the
have
ocean
known.
looks like.
Yeah,
Just
they
look
didn't
up-
have
look
like
up
a
breakdowns.
James Cameron rig that they could have like made swells in.
Maybe a lot of it was set in the water, but I mean, they definitely were at the beachside and they did
Yeah, no,
do
when
some
they're like
locations.
that
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
stuff. But when the scenes that actually set in the ocean,
Yeah.
where she's doing the swim, the water is 100% CGI, which is unbelievable.
I think
Yeah,
at
that
this
is
point,
wild.
I think at this point, it is worth mentioning. Naiad is on Netflix. It's something that came up a few episodes ago.
Yes.
Because I saw it and I absolutely loved it. It
Yeah.
was really like, it's quite a movie. It's based on the true story of a long distance swimmer
Yeah,
who swam from Cuba to Miami in what is a ridiculous stretch of water
Yeah.
in terms of the weather has to be 100% right. There's jellyfish, there's all these things. And there's a point
Yeah.
where you're like, this is obscene.
Yeah.
It's 3 days of swimming non-stop. She
Yeah.
has to shit and wee while she's swimming. She like loses her mind.
Oh my goodness.
yeah.
But she kind of did it just for herself. It was like her own personal record. Like no one was like even sort of saying she has to do it.
yeah.
She did it for herself.
Because she was
So-
like in her 60s when she did it.
oh yeah, clincher. She's in her fucking 60s.
Yeah.
That is
So,
nuts. Yeah, 'cause I'm
Annette
thinking of
Bening-
Annette Benning's
Yes.
age.
Yeah, so Annette Bening did it. Jodie Foster was her sort of best friend. And as we go on, we'll mention their names
Yes.
because they were nominated. But
Yeah, because it's a true story.
it's a true
Yeah.
story. And now is a good time to sort of tell someone, like, it's on Netflix. It's called Naiad, so Nyad.
Yeah.
You should watch it.
Cool.
Cool.
Okay.
All right, moving on.
Cool. Best sound, which used to be 2 categories. It used to be sound editing and sound design.
Yeah, but
now
they're
they've
all
just
about
combined it into best sound.
Audiences that
Yeah.
are like, I don't know, what's the difference?
Yeah, exactly. So we have The Creator, Maestro, Mission Impossible, Oppenheimer, and the winner was Zone of Interest,
Oh, yeah.
which is a very interesting choice.
I think it's also because sound plays such a huge part in that
Yes.
story.
Absolutely.
So the whole movie is sound. Okay, so Zone of Interest, just to go back quick, is it's a film set in World War II. The film is about the house next door to Auschwitz.
Yeah.
So the commander of the camp, and for those who don't know, because I realized in telling a lot of people don't know what the fuck Auschwitz is.
What?
No, I know, but there are some folk.
Wild.
The most famous and notorious concentration camp, where a lot of sort of very meticulous and thought through extermination of the Jewish people happened, and is a memorial site that you can go to today. This camp obviously had a commander. The commander needed to live close by, and so the whole film takes place in this house next door, where his family are like frolicking in the field and like swimming in the swimming pool and trying to get the veggies to grow. And in the background, you hear the gunfire.
Yeah.
You hear the screams. You hear these, and it's just this sort of backdrop of sound. And so that makes sense. More as a decision than the actual craft of it, but it makes sense that it could get the sound award.
I think it's because it's so emotive.
Yes.
So it does its job.
Yeah.
You know?
On purely that, on its emotive, but then I guess, its technical skill gave you that emotion.
Because think about it, you have to create the sound of people being murdered and the kind of scream, and then you have to place it far away so that
You
it's
gotta
like
place
nearby,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it's also distant and it's traveling on wind, and
Yeah.
it's like it's one of those things where it's seamless, so you don't
Yeah.
think that it's a big deal.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
probably an incredible amount of crafting.
Because I walked out of that and I said the same thing about the whole film itself. Like, it's directing, everything. I was like, it's like they didn't do anything.
Yes.
Right.
And I know that's such a like noob comment, but it spoke a lot for what the film was trying to do, which was not hold you close. It didn't have these big close-ups of the
Yes.
characters, and that was on purpose so that you didn't identify or feel for these Nazi concentration camp
Dickheads.
managers.
Yeah.
And you were meant to hold far away. They didn't light these scenes. They sort of apparently hid some of the cameras, even in the walls. And they had as little crew in the house as possible so that it felt very real, very natural. It was very eerie. And I've said this before, this movie should have been a short film. It should have been like a 20-minute short film.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it would have been just as powerful, perhaps even more.
Sure.
But that's my
Interesting.
opinion.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm surprised that didn't go to Oppenheimer, to be
Yeah.
frank. Yeah.
The sound, it's a
The
good
sound
point.
of Oppenheimer was unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Or Maestro, which is just orchestras. Anyway, okay.
Yeah, I know.
It is what it is.
What
but
is what
I
is
didn't have an
Maestro being
opinion on
nominated
it.
for?
Right.
Okay, next one.
Are we going to skip shorts?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
It is worth mentioning that the Bioscope is screening, or has been screening, the Oscar-nominated short films. So we are going to have a few more screenings
Cool.
of those. And I think they're fun
Yeah.
for the very reason that you want to skip them. Because we don't get the chance to see them. And so it is nice to have this night where you can watch all of them in one place.
Yeah.
Lovely tradition. We've got lots of folk that come each year for it. And so it was great to screen those again. I think both the winners were relatively obvious.
Yeah, I was going to also, I think
Wes
for one
Anderson
thing,
won for
Yeah.
Henry Sugar.
I was going to say it's probably one of the years where the winner has been seen by more people than they usually are.
Yeah, because it was Wes Anderson's Roald Dahl shorts.
Yeah.
The most obvious one of which is The Wonderful World of Henry Sugar.
Yeah.
And that is available on Netflix or at the Bioscope.
Oh, you're screening it here.
Yeah, well,
Cool.
we're screening it because it's part of
One of the
that.
nominees.
It's
Okay.
part of the nominees. Yeah.
Cool. I don't think it's the best of those shorts, though.
Perhaps not, but
Yeah.
it's the one that, let's give Wes Anderson one thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So, moving on from the shorts.
Best production design.
Okay,
This
so
was
this is
interesting.
sets.
Yes.
It's not costume. Eh?
Yes.
Costume's its own thing, but it's really just the sets.
Yes.
Okay.
Cool. So we have Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Oppenheimer, and the winner was Poor Things.
Which is great.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
totally.
100%.
The only other contender for me could have been Barbie.
Exactly. And it's the kind of situation where you think that deserves an Oscar when you see it.
Yeah.
And then Poor Things comes out in the same year.
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
like, oh, they can both win.
Honestly, I'd be happy if any of these won. They're all really good. Killers of the Flower Moon as well. That whole
Yes.
little town they built that. That doesn't
Yeah.
exist.
Yeah, but
You
it is something you've seen.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
We can
Barbie we
create
haven't
a
seen.
little Western town where the
Exactly.
Barbie one was cool. How the plastic met the real, but it was all very
Yeah.
fabricated.
Exactly. And Poor Things is
Yeah.
like in its own way incredibly unique. Like
Yeah.
you think
Yeah.
about those. We were talking about the set extensions
Mm.
and the matte paintings and
How it doesn't hide like that artifice at all. It's
exactly. It's
it
like
embraces
it
it,
feels
yeah.
like it's on a studio set.
Like, yes.
You know.
Yeah. So it's perhaps worth mentioning here. Poor Things is a huge, amazing, big swing.
Mm.
It's a lovely, like old. It's like it's an old setting. It's what is it? It's sort of ship travel era. What is that?
yeah.
A good sort of 100,
Mercantile.
200 years
Yeah.
ago. But it's all very fantastical, as if you're reading this bizarre old fantasy book.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a retelling of Frankenstein for those who've missed it, but it's but a lovely reinvention where it's a female character who's got the brain of a child,
Yes.
and you see
Literally.
literally,
Yeah.
and she's the sort of manufactured surgical being,
Yeah.
and
it's
the
like
whole
Edward Scissorhands.
yeah, it's this such a delightfully
It's
unique,
Edward Scissorhands
wild
meets
thing.
Pretty Woman
Meets Frankenstein.
meets Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Meets Pretty Woman. That's interesting.
Yeah.
yeah, with her going off with
Yeah, a little
Ruffalo
adventure.
for the adventure, and so yeah, you're in Lisbon and you're on this boat, and you're I think in Paris. I forget where they are, but the sets are these lovely sets that are just delightful colors, and
Yeah.
someone used the word delicious, and I was like, yeah, Poor Things is delicious,
Yeah.
It is delicious.
and it's funny.
It's
Yes.
hilariously
Yeah.
funny.
It is funny and it's wild, and I love it. Okay,
Yeah, it
so
was
it
great.
won for production design.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's bold.
It's
Yeah,
bold.
that's a good
It's
word for it.
As bold
movie.
as Barbie to deserve getting the Oscar.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. Okay, next.
Best original song.
All right.
I haven't even heard some of these. The Fire Inside from Flaming Hot. I have no idea what that is.
Flaming Hot was a biopic about the guy who invented the Flaming Hot Cheetos.
So it's one of these movies about a product that's become very popular right now.
Yeah, but I think it was the unknown story of
Right.
who was because it's the context of Flaming Hot Cheetos is the fact that it's a very loved Latino community
Okay.
Yes.
thing, and this was created by a Latino guy in the Cheetos factory.
Right.
For many folk in America, like that's their base of hotness,
Right.
You know, so it's the story of that.
Okay. Then we have I'm Just Ken from Barbie. Did you guys see the performance of that?
I watched the beginning of it.
It's
Yeah.
it's very
Oh,
good.
so they got him to perform
Yes.
at Oscars.
It's
'cause
so
Yeah.
funny when he says the first chorus line, I'm just Ken.
Yeah.
You could see he wasn't where he was supposed to be and he raced up to the staircase
Yes.
to hit his mark. He was like, fuck, I'm late.
Lovely.
Yeah.
It Never Went Away from American Symphony. Okay, you watched American Symphony, but I haven't seen it.
Lovely.
Cool.
Okay, the John
John
Batiste,
Yes.
Batiste.
documentary on Netflix.
Yes.
Cool.
Okay.
A Song for My People from Killers of the Flower Moon.
okay.
I don't actually know where that was in the film. And then the winner was What Was I Made For
it's up
there.
from Barbie.
Yeah, so I think that was in people's eyes as the obvious choice
Yes.
Yeah,
because it was the more
definitely.
serious, somber one of Barbie.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit of a phenomenon.
And
Yes.
It's all over social media.
Its poignancy comes out where I'm Just Ken is probably the better. I think that should have won,
Right.
but it's the bit too silly.
Right.
Right.
Where the Billie Eilish thing,
She's got 2 Oscars now.
Yeah.
and so yeah, she said in a
Well,
great
her and her brother.
Yes.
yeah, she said in a great interview that what am I made for, like, just came to her, and how it sort of like just stuck in her head is this line, and she told a great story about having seen sort of 2/3 or 3/4 of it in a special screening
Right.
where Greta Gerwig was like, "We really need you to do the song,"
Cool.
and it was it's lovely.
Yeah.
So it's very deserving, I think.
Yeah, I think that one's, yeah.
Cool.
Original score. So we have American Fiction, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, Killers of the Flower Moon, Poor Things, which is a wild choice because
Yeah.
that score was bonkers.
Yeah.
And then it was won by Oppenheimer, Ludwig Göransson.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
second for me was Poor Things, just because I hadn't heard that
Yes.
before. And
Yeah.
it worked so well with the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Oppenheimer is also
Incredible, yeah.
massive. Dude.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard a dubstep remix of the Oppenheimer theme?
No.
It's fucking amazing when that big brass section horn thing goes and it drops down like that, and then goes and you're like,
It's lovely.
it's a banger.
Atoms are fizzing in my head right now. Okay, cool.
Fizzering.
Fizzering, yes.
What's the word?
I don't know.
Fisher. What's
Thinking of
the?
fission and fusion,
Yeah.
but I think fission is a verb. You can't get abs to
Fissioning.
fisher
Mm.
to fish.
To fissure.
They collide, right, and they split.
Sure.
Okay.
And
All right.
they-
Atoms were splitting in my head.
Yeah,
There you
there
go.
it is.
That's good.
Digga, 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 digga.
Okay, best makeup and hairstyling.
All right.
I don't have a lot of opinions on this one. I don't know what Golda is, but that's one of the nominees.
Oh, it's Helen Mirren as the Jewish war criminal lady.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Maestro, Oppenheimer, Society of the Snow, and it was won by Poor Things.
I mean, okay. So Willem Dafoe's character in Poor Things
Yes.
was this kind of cut up, like
Mhm.
Sure.
across his face.
Yeah, because his father experimented on him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, he had incredible makeup. Okay,
Mhm.
Emma Stone was quite simple in that regard,
Yeah.
but yeah, just that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like it's a obvious one.
I think Maestro could have been one because of his transformation.
I was surprised that it even got nominated
Really?
because 90% of its fanfare before release was about the prosthetic nose
Yeah.
that he put on, and it's like a Jewish stereotype, and
right.
he was using this to look like Leonard Bernstein.
Okay.
Stein. And one thinks like, is that completely necessary? Do you need that to do a biopic?
Right.
Do you need
Okay.
to look like him? Like it doesn't feature in the story.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So maybe
You
it's not
know?
deserving. Okay.
So
Is it because Bradley Cooper's just too naturally good looking?
maybe.
Like we
Yeah.
need to ordinary him up a little bit? I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like aside from that, what else is it nominated for? Aside from
Mm.
just making people look old, like
Yeah.
as in
Okay.
50 years
All right.
ago.
So maybe it wasn't deserving. I
Yeah.
haven't seen it. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either.
yeah,
Neat.
it's overrated.
Yeah, I read your review of it on.
Yeah.
Very boring.
And I was
Oh,
like,
is it?
okay, I'm going to give that one a
We're
bit of
talking
time.
about Maestro here.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right, best international feature. So that, yeah, it actually tells you the country here that it comes from. That's interesting. It doesn't tell you. So,
Tell us?
Il Capitano, which you
Oh,
watched as well,
yeah.
and you said it was crap.
Yeah, it was crap.
From Italy.
Yeah.
Perfect Days, which I've never heard of, from Japan.
That was Wim Wenders as a director.
Oh, okay.
I heard it was great,
Right.
but the film itself was made in Japan.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Interesting.
Society of the Snow from Spain.
Which is on Netflix.
Great movie.
Yeah.
The Teacher's Lounge from Germany, and The Zone of Interest, which was from the UK. I didn't realize it was a UK production.
Yeah. Jonathan.
But again, I think it's
Laser.
determined by where the production company is based.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's probably why Anatomy of a Fall wasn't nominated here,
Yeah.
assuming that it was an American
I
production.
guess.
Well,
I'm
the
not
feeling
actually
was
sure.
that it could have been. It could have been submitted.
Right.
But,
Okay, but they didn't
but
submit
they
it.
didn't submit it.
That's interesting. Why would
Because-
you
I
not submit
don't know.
it?
I wonder if it's
I know.
because. So it used to be best foreign language film.
Yes.
Now it's best international feature.
Yes.
I wonder if they changed a rule somewhere in there.
Yeah, because I think the important thing to mention is that this is the Academy of National Arts and Sciences
Yes.
or whatever, but that is based out of the States.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so it very much is an American thing. So
Yeah.
so folks
It's calling it what it is, which I
yeah,
like.
and like folks are members of the Academy that are of different nationalities, but it's a little bit like a sort of citizenship to America
Yes.
where you join this particular academy, an organization which is an American organization. And so that's, effectively what it is. So that if your film is made outside of America, you could submit it
Yeah.
for this international thing. So it's
Okay.
quite nice that it's got that name. It makes a bit more sense.
Yes. Just to be clear, Zone of Interest did win that.
Yeah, which I think,
Again, I haven't seen a lot of these, but it's a tremendous movie. So
okay.
cool. Then we go into best film editing, where we have Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Poor Things, and it was won by Oppenheimer.
Yeah, no contest.
Yeah, definitely.
No contest. That is,
Yeah.
I think that is some of the best film editing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Well, also, because it is a film that is constructed, I know this is obvious, every film is constructed by its editing, but often the editing is meant to be quite invisible, seamless,
Yes.
in the order of events.
Exactly, like
Where-
very linear, predictable.
If you
Yeah.
are telling a story, and so Oppenheimer, for those who haven't seen, is effectively two stories in one.
Yeah.
And the editing and how you cut between these two stories is a rather important way in which this film is constructed.
Exactly.
And so the editing is very much at the forefront,
Yeah.
where the one story is in black and white and edited in such a way that the future is being told to you while the past is playing
Yeah.
out. It makes sense.
It's a very Chris Nolan thing. Most of his movies are kind of non-linear in that way.
exactly.
So
But
you have things happening at different points in time,
yeah, I
being
think
intercut
the
with
most
each other.
impressive thing about it, though, is the fact that you can track what's happening in both those stories.
Yeah.
Like, you understand what's happening.
Yes.
And they're complementing each other.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's written that way. But the fact that you can still track it conceptually while you're watching is an insane
Yeah.
achievement. Like, it does. I was thinking about this when I saw it again the other day. It does take its toll, like wall-to-wall dialogue that Nolan does. You like someone like finishes their line at a full stop, and he
Yes.
cuts to another line in
Yeah.
a different situation. It's non-stop talking,
Yeah.
and it gets
For 3 hours.
exhausting. Yeah. So like by hour 2.5, you're like,
Yeah.
it's just information overload. But the film still excites and tracks and
Right.
entertains, and that for me is the most impressive thing about
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
I think Chris has always been good at that because the Prestige has something like 150 time jumps in terms of going back and forth and
Yes,
flashbacks within flashbacks, all that sort of thing, and you're never lost.
Yeah.
You're never lost.
Exactly.
It is unbelievable that actually works.
Exactly. It's one of those things where you're watching it as an audience member.
Yeah.
And because it works, you don't think it's hard.
Exactly. Yeah.
But try edit a film.
Yeah.
Like, that's all you have to
Yep.
Okay.
think of, you know?
Okay. Next on this list is best directing, but I'm going to come back to that one.
Cool.
We'll do it before best picture. Best costume design: Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Oppenheimer, and it was won by Poor Things.
Great.
Yeah, I think that's a good choice again.
They wear lovely clothes. Lovely outfits.
Lovely outfits and lovely clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, Bella, that character,
Mm.
is a bit iconic.
Mm.
There's something new and iconic and different about her.
No.
And that costume as well plays a part in that.
Yeah.
It makes sense that costume could be the same winner as hair and makeup because the two are so linked.
Yeah.
It would be quite strange.
Somewhere
to,
out there, a hair and makeup specialist is like, "No, how dare you?"
No. The success being how well those two are
Exactly,
done
like
together.
fundamentally,
They complement
they
each other.
are.
Yeah.
That if
you know,
there is
bringing
such
a
a
character to
clear
life.
vision for the one, there should be a very
Exactly.
clear vision for
Totally.
the
Yes.
No, I get you.
other. Yeah.
Yeah, deserving.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things where like it's important to note like costume design will kind of evolve with the character.
Yes.
As she like ages, so to speak.
Yes.
The costume design kind of changes with her.
Absolutely.
You know, that
This
sort of thing
category
is
always
really important.
kind of annoys me.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, because it's like, oh, a history piece, a period drama, Oscar nomination.
Oh, right.
And it's kind of like, it looks like the last history like piece that you guys made or that was nominated last year.
Okay,
Just like a
but-
whole bunch of guys in brown suits. I get that it's hard.
Yes.
I get that it's hard to do that
because
if
none
you
of that
try
stuff
source-
exists anymore.
Exactly. You
So
have
it
to
all has
craft
to be
it,
made.
and you have to research it
Yeah.
and make us believe that it's there. I know.
Yes.
I know. It's still one of those things for me.
Yeah.
Because I think like the research and the fact that those clothes don't exist anymore.
Yes.
Everything has to be tailor made.
Textures.
And for like a movie like
colours.
Killers of the Flower Moon, which has hundreds of extras in it,
Fuck.
you have to make
I remember watching
thousands of pieces of
I
clothing.
remember watching a scene. I think it was in the Wheel of Time series where
Yeah.
there was a market. And I was
yes.
thinking to myself, can you first just be the production designer or no, the casting person? Like if you have to cast this many extras,
Yes.
and then the production person's like, okay, we have to dress that many extras.
Right.
We have to get all their sizes. We have to figure out what the color palette is, what the materials are, and we have to populate this place with like 50 extras.
Yeah.
You know how hectic that is?
Yes.
It is insane. Whenever you see a marketplace in a movie,
Yeah.
just stop for a second and pause and be like, you have to plan that. No, chaos.
Yeah.
Fuck filmmaking, dude.
Right.
It
Such a
is so
sto-
much stress.
Such a stoner thought. Oh my god.
It's so hectic. Yeah?
Okay, we have to make a quick correction here. Best cinematography. The movie you didn't like was El Condo.
Oh, El Condo, yes.
Yes, we
Oh, you said El
mentioned-
Capitan.
Yeah, which is a different movie.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, El Condo.
Io Capitano was an Italian film, but it was El Condo that you said was
Yes.
not
And El
correct.
Condo is the vampire
Our opinion on that remains ungiven. It's not
Yes.
You don't know it yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, El
Um,
Capitan we don't know.
So
But
this
we
is
know
best
El Condo.
cinematography, El Condo, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Poor Things, and again won by Oppenheimer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well deserved.
Well deserved.
Cinematography of Poor Things was interesting.
Yeah.
It was special.
It was special.
We had these kind of weird fisheye lenses.
Oh, I loved the fish eyes in that
Yeah.
movie because they
But-
felt motivated in terms of story and not just a cool stylistic thing.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
okay, all right. Oppenheimer.
Yeah, man. Hoyt van Hoytema is like
God.
an incredible cinematographer.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
unreal.
Big close-ups.
Yeah.
I think I'm
Beautiful
disappointed
close-ups.
I'm disappointed that the creator wasn't nominated.
Yeah.
After reading up about the fact that it's shot on a camera we can go buy for under 100,000 Rand right now.
Yeah.
And it's
But it
groundbreaking.
looks
Minimal
looks-
crew,
Yeah.
you know.
It looks insane.
Yeah.
It looks so good.
I think a lot of that just comes from when it's that case, when it's that simple, it's just like your director having a very good eye.
Yeah.
Gareth Edwards obviously just has. Do you know his first feature film, which was called Monsters, I think?
Okay.
He did all of the visual effects,
Oh, I've seen that film.
like himself.
I've seen a lot of that film. It was something.
He was the VFX crew on that movie.
They're these very like eerie tentacle things that are often in the shadows as they've come to Earth.
Yeah.
It's like big aliens.
Oh.
It was very interesting.
Like his
film.
his first directing job was a TV series about Attila the Hun, and he did all the visual effects on that as well. It was like 250 shots or something that he did himself. Same thing with Monsters. He did all the visual effects. 'Cause
Oh
his
my
own effects-
goodness, he's one of those.
Yeah, and apparently it's all but confirmed he's going to be doing the next Jurassic Park, which I
Yeah.
think is a good choice.
Keen.
Yeah,
Very keen.
yeah,
Okay,
Yeah,
so
Oppenheimer.
he didn't win.
fantastic.
Oppenheimer won.
yes,
Shot in IMAX.
Yeah.
with like crazy lenses.
My
Like,
favorite thing was, my favorite thing watching it again was the outdoor stuff in the desert when they're going camping
oh yes,
and the twilight's soft lights, which you'd think means that there's no contrast, so it's not going to be a dynamic shot.
yes,
But it still looks incredible because it's also about the landscape and not the subjects, right? So it being flat like doesn't really create a like boring shot to look at.
right, yeah,
Yeah, but like also, I think the hardest thing to switch your mind when you're watching cinematography is not focusing on composition and camera placements,
Right.
and focusing on lighting.
yeah,
Like it's something that my eye just doesn't notice first.
yes,
Right?
A huge part of being the cinematographer is the light.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
100%. I
People
remember
think it's how far away the camera is from the person's
exactly,
face,
and
but
how cool composition is. It's painting with light.
yeah.
yeah,
That's it, and
And
it's so hard to do.
A lot of modern cinematography is very flat.
Exactly.
It's very flat.
Like, go look at a
There's like
Marvel
no
movie.
contrast. Yeah.
just to share a thing, a guy like Tom, who I know obviously from Short Straw, is now spending most of his time traveling the world being a cinematographer,
Being an incredible cinematographer.
an incredible cinematographer. So he spends like an hour at least or whatever, finicking with light, like getting these whole things right. And laying and lighting the subject like perfectly. And he says it's so annoying when like someone else just sort of like pops their camera or even their phone like just in front just to take a still of his photo
Yes.
that he's like been creating.
Yeah.
Like someone on set just going,
Yes.
oh, this is cool, and then they just pop their like phone just above his camera and take a photo.
Yeah. See.
Fuck, man. I've spent the last like 2 or 3 hours getting this perfect, and then you
Right.
just come in and take this great photo.
I remember the music video that we're freaking finally going to release now in June with Steve
Yeah.
that we shot October 2022.
Yeah.
It was finally coming out.
Good.
And I remember it happens every time I'm on set with Gavin and the dudes that he brings on.
Shout out to Gavin, who's a loyal customer.
Exactly.
We have a great episode with him.
And yeah, I remember going to him and saying, I want there to be a hard contrast on Steve. So I want him to be reverse lit. So the key comes from behind and the front of his face is dark. So it's like kind of a silhouette, but it's soft on the side. And I like have an idea
Yes.
of what that will do emotively. And then I see these guys are like, cool, I need that like 4x4 meter scrim put up with the light behind it, flooding
Yeah.
light and stuff. And I just watch them setting up this entire lighting setup, blocking
Yeah.
out all the. It's just insane.
How to turn your vision
Yeah.
into an actual reality.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's the skill.
Yeah,
And it's
exactly.
insane.
That's a really good explanation of like what a cinematographer's kind of job really is.
Yes.
You
Yeah,
know, or a
exactly.
big part of their job, let's say.
Like I can understand lenses,
Yes.
and I'm kind of at the point where I can be like, oh, this is a 35.
Yes.
Like this is what it needs. And I'll talk to the cinematographer in those terms.
cool.
But lighting,
Yeah.
no ways.
Yeah.
That's their specialty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I did photography courses, and I remember also coming out of it with this clear idea that like you are painting with light. like sometimes literally, where you could have for photography, you keep the shutter open in the dark, and you can literally like take a torch, and you can, and over the course of the shutter being open, 5-10 seconds or whatever, you can literally with a torch like paint,
Wild.
and then that of course, lights up what is your eventual photo.
Yeah.
Yes.
You sometimes literally paint with light.
Yes.
Crazy. But it's still happening when the shutter speed is fast,
Yeah.
right? And not slow.
Yeah.
Same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Next one.
Okay, best animated feature. So we have Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, of course, Robot Dreams, which I haven't heard of. I'm not sure what that is. Nimona, Elemental. I kind of may have swapped Ninja Turtles with Elemental personally.
Yeah.
But the winner was The Boy and the Heron, and I'm furious that I haven't seen it yet.
Same. This is welcome to living in South Africa.
Yeah.
Well, here's hoping.
Yes.
Putting it into the universe
Yes.
that The Boy and the Heron could get a release.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I badly want to see it.
I'm hearing some rumors.
Yeah.
Some people are
Yes.
talking.
Yes. Come on,
And,
guys. Do
and,
it.
the Bioscope is hopefully going to be able to screen it soon.
Amazing. I'm excited. Let's hope that
yeah.
happens.
Let's
That would
let's
be-
let's just
And then let's have a 2-day-long Miyazaki festival.
Hell
Bioscope.
yes.
yeah. So famous Japanese director who's brought the world's most incredible animated films into the world.
Yeah.
Spirited Away, Princess Mononoke, My Neighbor Totoro. He finally gets himself an Oscar.
Yeah. Well, no, because he got for
Spirited Away
one as well.
What did he get? Animated.
Best animated feature.
Okay. All right. Because I know that when he won his Golden Globe for
Yeah.
The Boy and the Heron,
Yes.
it was like, this is his first Golden Globe.
Yeah,
So-
that was his first
okay,
Golden
so
Globe.
I thought he'd been nominated. Okay, so he won.
Yep.
Cool. All right. And then I think older man in his 80s,
Yeah.
I think he'd famously retired,
Mm.
and then he came back and has made this film called The Boy and the Heron.
Yes.
Okay.
Which
Did
is
you see
probably going to be his last film.
Could very well be.
Probably.
We can't tell at this point.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that clip of someone pitching AI to him at Ghibli?
Yes.
Where he said, I am utterly disgusted. I will never put this into my films.
Lovely.
You guys can go do it, but I'm disgusted.
Of course, there's also that other famous clip of him saying anime was a mistake.
Oh, hectic. Really? He's such a nihilist in interviews, dude.
Yeah.
You're just like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How can you create so much joy? It's like he leaves it all on the page.
Yes.
And then in his real life, there's nothing left.
Yeah, apparently that there's one other guy, I forget his name. I was having a conversation at the festival about it, who makes like very dark anime, and you'd think he's the depressed nihilist, but he's like the happy, like, this is fun. And then you've got these like beautiful, heartwarming films made by Miyazaki, and then his interviews are like, the world is shit.
Yeah, exactly. The human race is the worst thing to ever happen to the planet.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
damn.
But that's cool.
Yeah.
I think deserving
Mm.
and great.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Okay, best actress in a supporting role. So we have Emily Blunt in Oppenheimer, Danielle Brooks in The Color Purple, America Ferrera in Barbie, Jodie Foster in Nyad, and the winner, I'm very happy about the winner, Divine Joy Randolph in The Holdovers. She was
lovely.
so good in that movie.
Very understated.
Yeah.
So The Holdovers, very quick, is about a winter break at a very fancy boys' school in the 70s, where only 3 characters remain over this 2-week period where they are an unlikely sort of buddy friendship as they have to endure this break alone while
Yeah.
everyone else has gone home. Divine is the cook
Yeah.
of the school, but her son had attended the school but had and had so much promise because he had the opportunity to go to the school because she worked at the school.
Yeah.
So this boy would not have normally been able to afford this kind of education. I think entered into the military, but then passed away.
Yeah.
So at the start of
Sure.
the movie, she is mourning the recent loss of her son.
Yeah.
And so she's got to endure these other 2 characters. She's still funny,
Yeah.
but kind of cries to herself,
Mhm.
and has these like moments where she really has to be facing and dealing with her own trauma of
Yeah.
like her son dying, but not just her son dying, like the son that had so much promise and was just such a good kid and just did not need to die.
Yeah.
It's hectic, but so
Sure.
very, very understated. I
Yeah,
thought.
it's a very natural, really charismatic, very, very endearing
quite an
performance.
invisible performance.
Yeah.
But when you see her
Cool.
win, you're like, no, that's very deserving.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really good. Okay, best actor in a supporting role. Sterling K. Brown in American Fiction. I really like Sterling K. Brown. He's just a really good character actor. Robert De Niro in Killers of the Flower Moon. Ryan Gosling in Barbie. Mark Ruffalo in Poor Things. And, of course, won by Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, his first Oscar.
In Oppenheimer, yeah. Third nomination, I think.
Yeah.
But his first one.
Interesting.
Very well deserved, dude. He's great in that movie.
I thought Ruffalo was incredible.
Oh,
in Poor
Ruffalo
Things.
was amazing.
Yeah.
I thought Ken was, Gosling as
Iconic.
Ken was very
It's iconic. Yeah.
iconic.
Yeah, it's interesting.
But-
This year we've had two of the nominees are like comedic performances. You don't see that often.
Yeah, you don't.
Mark Ruffalo was very funny in that role.
Exactly.
And so was Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling was hilarious.
Yeah, but I guess old Downey, he does get a bit lost in it. Like his acting is lost in his character. The sense that you don't quite see it as him in Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Right.
It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was tremendous.
Charismatic as hell.
Oh, yeah.
It's like kind of the heart of the movie next to Cillian.
Mm.
Because like you have the opposing forces there.
Yeah,
But he's just as strong.
Yeah.
Which is a big deal.
definitely.
Okay.
Okay. Best actress in a leading role.
Yay.
Annette Bening in Naiad, Lily Gladstone in Killers of the Flower Moon, Sandra Hüller in Anatomy of a Fall, who was also in Zone of Interest.
Yes.
Carey Mulligan in Maestro, and the winner was Emma Stone in Poor Things.
Surprising.
A little bit surprising.
No. For
Yeah,
me,
deserving.
yeah.
Deserving 100%.
It was such a big, bold swing.
Yeah,
and,
it's massive.
And just so much of her, like literally.
Yeah. I feel like as well, just in terms of physical acting,
Just-
it's insane.
what
Yes.
the job is to act. I mean, she had to be this child, and she had to discover her vagina, and she had to learn about the world and get more and more words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As she learns more words, you literally watch this person grow up. No, it was a huge
Yeah, it was amazing.
acting task.
Absolutely.
That makes sense. I think Annette Bening in Naiad is very deserving just because of what she goes through, like mentally, physically, what the salt does to your face.
Right.
After hours and hours of being in that salt water, that was also quite something.
Mm.
Lily Gladstone was great,
Yes.
Yeah.
and you want to reward that person and that performance.
Yep.
Yes.
But I mean, Poor Things, shit.
Yeah. You're
Okay.
right.
Yeah. I still would have given it to Lily Gladstone, but
Yeah.
it's actually a really tough category, this one.
Yeah,
It's a
No,
really
that's
tough
a really-
category.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones where it's like, it could have gone either way,
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. Okay, moving on.
yeah.
Cool. Best actor in a leading role, Bradley Cooper in Maestro, Coleman Domingo in Rustin, which is another one I haven't seen.
That's on Netflix.
That guy's a
Oh, is
great
it?
actor.
Yeah.
Nice. Paul Giamatti in The Holdovers, Jeffrey Wright in American Fiction, and of course, Cillian Murphy in Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Won it.
Yeah.
His first nomination and
Again,
won.
incredibly well deserved, dude.
Yeah.
Killed that role.
Yeah. No, sure.
Incredible. Just
Yep.
like,
Carried the weight of it as well.
Yeah.
I mean, like to be the title character,
yeah,
and also to be someone that isn't a leading man necessarily, at least not
Traditionally,
traditionally, and not necessarily in film.
yeah, I think Cillian Murphy was incredible in
Yeah.
that role. Like everything, like the voice that he found in there, it's
Yes.
like it doesn't sound
Yes.
like him at all, and like the physicality. Yeah, I think a lot of people kind of miss. Acting isn't just about saying lines.
Yeah,
It's not just about delivering dialogue. It's about the way the person moves
Yes.
and the way they use their eyes and the way they use their hands and everything about that. And Cillian Murphy just,
Yeah, saying that is that he said so much of it had to be the look on his face as he was thinking.
yeah,
Because this character had a lot of turmoil when he realized what he'd created. This character also had the most incredible maths and science happening in his brain that he couldn't necessarily speak or translate or
Yeah.
even understand. Synapses were firing at a rate that, not even he could kind of comprehend. And so Cillian said that he had to, and he knew that this camera was going to be right on him, and he knew that his face was going to be as big as an IMAX screen. So he was like, it's very important to me that people can see the look and the thinking and the nuance of his face.
Yeah.
He was very aware of how he had to show this sort of inner thought on the screen.
It's massive.
Yeah.
It is so massive. The camera sees everything.
yeah,
So you have to think about that as an actor.
yeah. Okay, coming back to Best Directing. Anatomy of a Fall from Justine, it's probably Trier, because she's French.
Justine, I think Spielberg said when he presented the award.
Okay.
Yeah.
Killers of the Flower Moon, Martin Scorsese.
Scorsese.
Poor Things, Yorgos Lanthimos. Zone of Interest, Jonathan Glazer. And About Damn Time, Christopher Nolan.
One
for Oppenheimer.
Best Director.
Yes.
Is this his first Best Director win?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think they said 8 nominations.
Yeah, see, really?
Beginning with Memento.
Yeah, Best Original Screenplay.
Like in when was that? 2000?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure you got some for Interstellar,
Yes.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Inception.
Inception. Those got nominated, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so
He could have won for that.
Yeah.
He could have won for The Dark Knight, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it's always been an amazing job. And this is like one of those moments of vindication.
It's like one of those like cumulative awards almost.
Exactly. It's like when Spielberg won for Schindler's List.
Yeah.
It's like a similar thing.
Yes.
That
yeah,
was
where you're
like-
not getting as much as you do deserve for your current product, you're getting for your work.
Exactly.
That makes
Exactly.
sense. That a lot of that comes into the play when people are thinking about it. You know, when the members of the Academy have to vote, they're like, oh my God, no, this is deserving.
This is
Yeah.
the time.
And also shout out to something that Adrian from Neon Dreams said months ago in the Neon Dreams episode, where he was like, in his opinion, he's like, it might not be his best, but it was his most important film, which is also an interesting way to look at it, where it was
Right.
like, did it at the right time, said the right story. It's
Yeah.
important. It's important that this film was made,
Absolutely.
and this was the guy that did it.
Yeah.
That's a story that we need to hear again after all these years. Like, we
Yeah.
need to understand
Yeah.
what a big deal it was.
Yeah.
Mm.
And
We were born and this thing existed already.
yeah.
Yeah.
And knowing as a director that that's the story you got to do, and you got to do it now.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Exactly. That film punches you
Mm.
a ton of bricks, dude. It's so great.
Yeah, even like you said, like it's a thing that already exists by the time we all, even like the Cold War was basically over by the time we all
Yeah.
saw that like nuclear war panic that existed at that point in time.
Exactly.
We've never lived through that.
And I think the interesting thing about watching it again after all the time had passed was that I found it to be far more of a study of Oppenheimer more than anything else. I know it was about the creating of the bomb, but when you're watching it for the first time, that's what you're engaging with, right?
Yeah.
You're engaging with the politics of the era. You're engaging with the mechanics of the engineering of that science, and that's what you're thinking of. There's the subterfuge, the like Cold War panic stuff that's happening in the background.
Yeah.
But then when you're just looking at Oppenheimer as a person, after you understand all that, and you get to see him suffering through this,
It's the study of the man.
it's
yeah.
immense.
Yeah.
And I remember when I came out of it the first time thinking, why was Florence Pugh's character in this movie?
Right.
Like, it felt like it was unnecessary. Why was she naked and humping him in the trial room? But that's because the center of the film is Oppenheimer as
Yeah.
a character. And I know that's a kind of obvious thing. It's like, duh.
yeah.
But
it's
when-
called Oppenheimer.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
come on. But it's not called the bomb.
Yeah.
But it's an incredible understanding of a man coming to grips, like being excited as a scientist and developing these new theories and being thrilled by them, but then unleashing
And being celebrated.
and being celebrated, dude, but unleashing this like weapon upon the world that plays out, and like the consequences of that we don't see,
Yeah.
but we like that is metaphorically communicated through the fallout that happens in
Yeah.
American politics with his like
We-
colleagues, and
He then gets disgraced and all those things.
exactly
Yeah.
it's like how we understand the impact of a bomb dropping on 100,000 people.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like through the eyes of one man. It's amazing.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that takes us to our last category. Hey?
Best Picture. So we have American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Past Lives, Poor Things, The Zone of Interest, and of course the winner was Oppenheimer.
Yeah. No,
A
I
lot
think
of good movies this year, before we go
Really
into the
good
winner.
movies.
Like, really strong year.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, things like Past Lives
Yeah.
was amazing and totally deserving
Yes.
in
100%.
to be there, to just be
Yes.
considered and just be in that family.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was obvious for me that it was going to be Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just, fun fact, this is the Producers Award. We've brought this up every
Yeah.
now and again. But yeah, the best film actually goes to the producer
Yeah.
for actually ringing this whole thing together.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's not Christopher Nolan's award.
Yeah. Well, he
But of
was a
course-
producer on it, so it's sort
Okay,
of
in that
yeah.
case, yes. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's for that sort of more under lying understated job, which is raising the budget, making sure the right people are on it.
It was really funny
Seeing
in
it through.
his acceptance speech. He said, and to this person and that person, and to Emma Thomas, the producer of all my films and children.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's really cool to see this filmmaking collaboration that's also a relationship
Yeah.
develop
Okay.
over all these years.
I think that's interesting. So sorry, I didn't know that. So his wife
Yeah, his wife's his producer.
is his producer,
Yeah.
and together the two of them won that award.
yeah.
Okay,
And they've
That's
been
lovely.
on this journey together all the way from
Yeah.
I think
That's
Memento and
special.
everything.
Mm.
Yeah. Lovely guys.
Yeah.
No,
That's a great year. I
I'm-
wish I'd watched more of the films.
Same.
There have been 1 or 2 years where I have done that, where you've tried to watch as many as possible, and it's a lovely thing to do. And I think with the Bioscope this time, with us screening a lot of the films and us getting to go to these premieres, we got close.
Yeah.
As you said, there
Right.
were 1 or 2 that just never came to South Africa, so they were quite tricky to watch. But yeah, I felt very close to the Oscars this year, which was cool.
Yeah.
All right, chappos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a
it's
lovely
done.
day. What a lovely chat.
Right.
Let's go sleep.
Shame, Russ.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna take it a little bit earlier today. Go have a
Go
little
home
nap.
and endorse, bro.
But yeah, lekker guys.
Mm.
Yeah.
Cool, and thanks for listening thus far, everyone.
Yep.
We will see you again next week. Our home base is thevideostore.co.za. Chime in and let us know what you think. Which were the films that you loved the most this year at the Oscars? And yeah, always nice to chat and hear from you.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you again next week. Cheers, guys.
Ta-ta.
Bye-bye.